This sounds loud to me, so I'm going to see if the game has settings that I can... Ew. So loud. Volume mixer. Okay, I turned it down on my end, so it's not overwhelming me. Hopefully it's also not overwhelming anyone watching. Okay, so I have not looked at anything about this game, so... It's very otome so far with the names. Just karma, I see. I'm guessing they're going to Rumpelstiltskin vibe with that. Rod Benedict... I missed the last part. Wittersiv. Wow. I do look forward to checking this game out. I have not played it before, and I'm not really familiar with it or any of the characters. I can kind of figure out the kind of tropes they're probably exploring just by looking at them. The love interest characters. That's the thing I kind of like about otome games. Do, do, do. Okay, and so that's clearly representing the 5 potential love interests. I wonder if that's going to change, like, if I went through it 5 different times and got the ending for each of them. Let's check out settings. Okay, right choice indicator. Yeah, I'm inclined to... I won't know if the text speed is good until I've actually played it. Defaults are probably fine. Sound was a little overwhelming, so for future reference, so I don't have to, like, crank it way down, I'm gonna cut those volume settings down a little and adjust my volume mixer. I really hope that the volume mixer affected things for people more than just me. Do not skip anything, please. Thank you. Oh, why can't I save my volume changes? I'm gonna assume they save automatically. Let's return. Alright. Unless somebody comes in and tells me that the sound is off, I'm gonna hope that the sound is fine. Do do do. Do do do. So yeah, let's see what this is going. I am absolutely down with playing a tutorial because I don't believe I have ever played a Ren'Py visual novel. I would like to view the tutorial, yes. Quick run through of the shortcuts and functions. I do not want to skip through text. Oh, I like that there's a back button. That's handy. There's a limited amount of lines you can roll back. Yeah, okay. Page up. For the lines you've already seen. Yeah, that's fine. Not inclined to skip. Okay, I already looked at the menu. Already looked at the menu here as well. You can have up to 72 save files. Wow. I do like saving before important choices, so I may well take advantage of those. And that was it. Alright, so I am going to read this out loud just because I've heard that sometimes people listen to things in the background, so. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, there were 2 crystals. One was the Crystallum Lucis, protected by the ruler of the fairies. The other was the Crystallum Tenebrarum, which was watched over by the high leader of the witches. I'm gonna go with Lucis. The Lucis was sustained by love, happiness, and joy. the tenebrarum by fear, anger, and hatred. The fairies and witches lived in harmony with the humans of the kingdom. They regulated the powers of the crystal in order to maintain balance between darkness and light. For there can be no joy without sadness, no courage without fear. The kingdom was at peace for a time. Until the Fire Nation attacked. Then one day, a traveling bard decided to write stories, tales of the magic and wonders of the kingdom. He named these stories fairy tales. Well, that seems unfair to the witches. Like, the fairies and the witches and the humans, you call them fairy tales? Biased. In fairy tales, the light always emerged victorious, and true love was the usual reward. The fairy tales spread further than could have been predicted. The humans of the kingdom began to believe that the fairy tales were true, and that the magic of the witches was inherently wicked and cruel. The witches became hated and feared. Eventually, they were hunted like animals. Wow, that's bad. That's no good. The witch hunt. All right, so we're just pulling on some unfortunate historical context there. The high leader of the witches, in all of her anger, created the fairy tale curse. You think we are wicked? So be it. Just as you have taken our happily ever afters, we shall take yours. Kind of legit, if I'm being honest. Like, not cool. Like, that they were hunted down. Anyway, the witches used the fairy tale curse to attack humans indiscriminately, ultimately throwing the kingdom into chaos and darkness. The ruler of the fairies, the Lucis bearer, sought to regain peace. But the witches were blinded by their hatred for humans who were responsible for the witch genocide. Yeah, fair. A terrible war, the Great War, began. Eventually, the Tenebrarum bearer, the high leader of the witches, was finally defeated. The Tenebrarum was lost, peace was restored, and light once again triumphed. But darkness can never fully disappear. It waits in the shadows, patient for when its time will inevitably return. That's rough. That's a rough backstory. I'm inclined to keep the default name, so... and I'm assuming Lucette must be the default name, so let's go with it. Prologue Ice Princess. My name is Lucette Riella Breton, daughter of King Gennaro Breton III. Click. I am the crown princess of the kingdom of Angiel. Wow, otome names are amazing. At least, that was who I used to be. But that was before yesterday when I became the victim of the infamous fairy tale curse. Everyone has forgotten my birthright. Now I am nothing more than a lowly peasant. I feel like I am stuck in a nightmare. But no, this is my reality now. I still have no idea what I must do to break the curse. I close my eyes and remember that day. It had started out like any other day. Have you heard? Another person was cursed, says Mayday. Lucette. Silence. I am on my way to the dining hall for breakfast when I stop and listen to the sound of hushed voices. There are two maids standing next to each other, each with brooms in hand. Lucette. These two are slacking off again. I don't know, Lucette. Maybe you could use a down-to-earth perspective. Maid B. That's terrible. What fairy tale curse was it? Mayday. They say it was Pinocchio. Maid B. Pinocchio? The fairy tale with the lying boy whose nose grows longer? That's awful. Maid A. You know, more and more people have been getting cursed lately. You think those wicked witches are up to something again? Maid B. I thought the fairy tale curses would stop after you-know-who was defeated. Lucette. You two were hired to work, not talk. Maid B. Exclamation point. We're sorry, Your Highness. As can only be expected from the likes of them. Yeah, Lucette had a bit of an attitude problem, it seems. ... Another fairy tale curse. The fairy tale curse started spreading even before the Great War began. I do not have much interest in its effects even now. After all, most humans probably deserve to get cursed. The victims are weak. Wow, Lucette is awful. Angiel would be better off without the dead weight. If it were up to Mother, the cursed would have been banished from Angiel the instant they fell prey to it. Okay, I'm sure part of the point of this story is going to be she's going to learn some lessons about how her attitude is very flawed. But Mother is not here anymore, and she will not come back, ever. Maid. Princess, the king and queen are waiting in the dining hall. Lucette. I am on my way. The king, Ophelia, and Rod are all present in the dining hall. Not that we know who Ophelia or Rod are, but... Someone is conspicuously missing, but I ignore their absence. King Gennaro. I'm sorry, I can't. King Gennaro, because he's a generic king. Is that genuinely what they were going for, or is it a really funny coincidence? I'm gonna go with funny coincidence, but still, that's my headcanon now. King Gennaro, because he's generic. Good morning, Lucette. Good morning, Your Majesty. Ophelia. Good morning, Lucette. Lucette. Silence. King Gennaro. Lucette. Lucette. Ophelia. Ophelia. Silence. Ophelia Widensov. Every day I wonder why my father, the king, married a lowly baker. Wow, Lucette is not likable. She could never be a true queen, for she pales in comparison to Mother. I take my seat next to the king and then look up at the person sitting opposite me. Rod Benedict Widensov, my stepbrother, is bored and quiet as usual. Oh, he's definitely a love interest, isn't he? I remember him from the opening. I don't know how I feel about the step-sibling angle, but we'll deal with that later. He will not be my first choice, that's for sure. Rod Benedict Widensov. Yes, my stepbrother is bored and quiet as usual. He is 2 years my junior and is the younger of Ophelia's children. He is mute and uses a plush bunny to voice his thoughts. It was apparently given to him by a fairy. Yeah, I see the... I think I see the character tropes they're going for with his character, and yeah, those are tropes that exist. Rod. Silence. He minds his own business and is easy to deal with. But his older sister... My eyes go to the empty seat beside him. She is probably the most infuriating person I have ever had the displeasure of knowing. Emmeline. Yeah, that's her name. Emmeline. I'm so sorry I'm late. I was reading and forgot the time. And here she is, thinks Lucette. Emmeline. Good morning, dear father, mother. Good morning, Rod. And good morning to you too, Lucette. It's a beautiful morning, isn't it? Lucette. Silence. Emmeline Widensov, Rod's elder sister and my stepsister. I sort of feel like, based on otome tropes that I'm familiar with, that Lucette's kind of the villainess here so far, but I mean, obviously she's the main character, so. Anyway, Emmeline Widensov, Rod's elder sister and my stepsister. She acts as if we were blood, as if she too were born a princess. As if she could be crowned princess, perhaps steal my place. I will never let that happen. Chill out, Lucette. King Gennaro. Now that everyone is here, let us begin. Butlers glide inside with silver trays to carefully serve us breakfast. So, Emmeline, you were reading the fairy tale books that the king brought you, asks Ophelia. Emmeline. Emmeline. Yes. Emmeline. Oh, yes, there were so many and they were all so wonderful. Emmeline, thank you so much, Father. King Gennaro, I am happy you like them. Emmeline, I love them. It's so strange that the library didn't have any of them to begin with. Lucette, that is because Mother hated them. She had all the books burned. Wow, okay. Anyway. Emmeline, exclamation point! But why? They're such charming stories. Yeah, at the moment, I'm definitely on Emmeline's side. Lucette, fairy tales mislead humans into believing that they can have things they do not deserve. More hot takes from Lucette. Fame, riches, love, happily ever afters. King Gennaro, silence. Lucette, and when their wishes do not come to fruition exactly as they want them to, the humans blame the witches for granting them in the first place. I mean, yeah, okay, so that's a good point, Lucette, sure. King Gennaro, what are you implying about the witches, Lucette? I mean, if the answer is Lucette is implying that the witches did nothing wrong, okay, that I'll support her in. The atmosphere shifts, the air in the room growing heavy. I continue to eat. Lucette, perhaps witches are not responsible for the evil in this world. Perhaps humans are the cause of their own downfall. Yeah, okay, this is a take from Lucette I can get behind. King Gennaro, have you any idea what you're talking about, child? Witches have caused nothing but pain and suffering to this kingdom. Even now, they still spread the fairy tale curse to our innocent subjects. The truth is, I know very little about the time the witches had free reign over Angiel. I was very young then, and Mother forbade me to leave the palace, sometimes even my room. I know nothing of the people's supposed pain and suffering. Lucette, thinking, Mother kept me away from everyone. And so I cannot bring myself to care. Okay. Lucette, you have, like, what feels like the right idea, but for the wrong reasons? Well, hopefully eventually this story will have a slightly more sophisticated look at this. But anyway, whatever. Lucette, how do you know the cursed are innocent? King Gennaro, our people have been toiling day and night to rebuild Angiel after the Great War. Our people are the kingdom's foundation, and I am endlessly grateful for their determination and resolve. Every day I wonder what your mother taught you about... Lucette, leave Mother out of this. Gennaro, silence. Ophelia, dear, please. Gennaro, ... Yeah, I think I'm going to say ... instead of silence. Just, yeah. Ophelia, Lucette, darling, your father didn't mean to... Lucette, I am not one of your children, Ophelia. I do not need your sympathy. Ophelia, exclamation points! King Gennaro, Lucette, you will show your mother respect. Lucette, she is not my mother. I set down my fork and knife and stand up. I am done, excuse me. My father and I have never got on, but our relationship has significantly worsened since he married the baker. Lucette thinking, my father, the king, it has been 17 years, and I have never felt any love from him. He treats Emmeline and Rod, who only entered our life 1 year ago, like his own children. Better than he has ever treated me. This has been my life ever since Mother passed away 4 years ago. Mother was the only one that was there for me when no one else was. If it wasn't for the accident during the Great War, she would still be here. Man. Why the sour face so early in the morning, princess? Oh, yep, he looks like one of the love interests. Let me guess, it's the king, the queen, or Princess Emmeline. Or is it all of them? I ignore his question. Lucette, Fritz, what are you doing here so early? Fritz, we have a name. I'm running some errands for my father. Fitzgerald Aidan Leverton, son of the highest knight of the Order of Caldera. Those sure are a bunch of fantasy otome names. His father, Sir Alcaster, has served the royal family for many years. Sir Alcaster is one of the king's most trusted advisors. 3 years ago, Fritz was assigned the honor of becoming my personal knight. Okay. I do like that trope a lot. His presence is the only company I can tolerate nowadays. Lucette, you should wait in the throne room then. Fritz, thank you. ... Princess? Lucette, yes? Fritz, you know, I haven't seen you smile once since I met you. Lucette, why is that of any importance? Fritz, ... Still, I do hope to see you smile one day, Princess. Okay, he did just do a little, like, bit of a... You should smile, and that can be a problematic phrase, but, like, on the other hand, they've known each other for a long time, and then the way it was phrased, it wasn't that bad. I'm gonna not overthink that. Lucette, ... Fritz, well, I won't take up more of your time. I'll see you at 10. Lucette, 10? Fritz, don't tell me you've forgotten. Lucette, forgotten what? Fritz, you're going to town today, remember? I deflate as the realization dawns on me. It has been 2 days since the king issued the order. King Gennaro, in a flashback sequence. Lucette, I would like you to accompany Emmeline on one of her town outings. Lucette, ... Surely you could send maids with her instead. Gennaro, I would not have requested you to accompany her if I was going to send her with her maids. Lucette, ... King Gennaro, I want you to make an effort to get along with your sister. Lucette, step-sister. King Gennaro, she is your sister, and you will treat her and Rod as if they were of your blood. Lucette, ... King Gennaro, 2 days from now you are going to accompany Emmeline outside. Lucette, exclamation points. King Gennaro, it has been 4 years since you last left the palace. Ever since then, you have locked yourself away. You barely leave your room. Oh my god, she's like a fantasy princess hikikomori. King Gennaro, Angiel was in the grip of war back then, but now the kingdom is safe and back to its former glory. I want you to see how beautiful Angiel really is. Lucette, a princess must know her kingdom. Go with Emmeline, and she will show you the town that you only ever see through your windows. Lucette, ... Is that an order? King Gennaro, if it needs to be. Lucette, ... King Gennaro, are we clear? Lucette, ... King Gennaro, Lucette? Lucette, understood. The last time I left the palace was 4 years ago, when the king took me with him to check on the people after the Great War had ended. I shake my head, removing myself from the memory. I am safe here. Fritz, Princess, are you all right? Lucette, ... Fritz, it won't be that bad. The townsfolk are good people. Lucette, how can you be so sure? Fritz, ... Times have changed. People change. Lucette, that is precisely the problem. In her thoughts. Mother never changed. Mother loved me until the end. I have very mixed feelings about Lucette. Fritz, ... Fritz, sometimes change is for the better, Princess. I think you'll see that today. If you'll excuse me, I shall see you later. Lucette. Delora. Do you think witches are capable of bringing back the dead? Delora. ... Lucette. I wish you could talk to me. You and the others. I'm guessing Delora is a doll? Yeah, looks like. My dolls are my only friends. They are the only ones I can trust. Lucette, that is very sad. Unlike humans, they will never betray me. They will never hurt me. They will always be there for me. The moment I saw Delora, I knew she was special. She was different, so elegant and realistic it was almost as if she was breathing. She was a gift from the king on my 17th birthday. I only started receiving dolls from him when Mother passed away. Mother does not believe in birthday celebrations. Lucette, I feel like you look up to your mother somewhat disproportionately. I do not have good feelings about her from everything we've heard about her so far. But every year at midnight, a letter would appear under my door. It would contain instructions leading me through the palace on an adventure to a room filled with gifts, cakes, and sweets. A child's dream. I'd been fascinated by the dolls, which always held a little greeting card. A card with the words, "I love you," on it, signed by M. The card would tell me to keep those celebrations a special secret, but I didn't need to be told that. Mother always found a way to show me she still cared. Lucette, are you sure that was your mother? Well, it might have been. We'll roll with that. In her own way. The secret celebrations had stopped as soon as she disappeared. Well, okay, fair. That's some evidence in favor. Lucette. Yes? Maid. Excuse me, Your Highness. The king has requested your presence. Lucette. This better not be another lecture. Tell him I am on my way. First half of that was her inner thoughts, and then the tell him I am on my way was her outer thoughts. Lucette. I will see you later, Delora. Delora. ... Okay, I am prepared for at some later point Delora to just start talking. But at the moment she is a doll. Man. Oh. Good morning, Your Highness. Lucette. ... Sir Mithros. Sir Mithros, the royal advisor. Father trusts him a great deal, just like he does Sir Alcaster. Mithros. Every day you look more and more like your mother. Lucette. ... I sometimes find Sir Mithros talking to Mother's portrait when he thinks no one is looking. He must have admired her a lot, but I cannot bring myself to think highly of him. There is something about him that puts me on edge. Mithros. Are you on your way to see the king? I shall not keep you then. Until our next meeting, dear princess. Lucette. ... Lucette. Your Majesty. King Gennaro. Lucette, are you ready? Lucette. ... King Gennaro. You will enjoy this, Lucette. I've heard that the toy shop has lovely dolls. Lucette. ... King Gennaro. This will be good for you. You will get to know your sister better, and you will be able to interact with and learn about the people of Angiel, about our subjects. Lucette. I will not learn anything I do not already know. King Gennaro. ... Why do you always believe that the people around you are incapable of good? That's a good question, King Gennaro. Perhaps we will find that out. Lucette. Because I have seen how quickly people will betray and manipulate each other to get what they want. Mother warned me about human nature. Okay, that makes me ask, though, like, Lucette, have you seen how quickly people would betray each other? Or did your mother tell you about this? Because your mother seems like she had some hang-ups. Anyway. King Gennaro. You do not see clearly, Lucette. If you would only open your eyes, you would be able to see how good people really are. Lucette. I believe I am already quite capable of seeing the true nature of people. After all, I have seen that there is no good in you. Wow! Burn! King Gennaro! Exclamation points. Lucette, Lucette, where were you when I needed you 4 years ago? Where have you been ever since? Back then, I'd been overflowing with grief and pain. I'd just lost Mother, my entire world. I'd hoped that maybe he would have shown me love and compassion. Even just a hug to let me know someone was there. King Gennaro. ... It had been a childish hope. I had been left alone. I did not see him for months, had barely even heard his voice. Lucette, thinking to herself, you cannot rely on anyone but yourself. You cannot trust anyone but yourself. This is what you have taught me, Your Majesty. I mean, okay, that was shitty of him to abandon his daughter right after her mother died, but, like, parents are humans too. Lucette, you have some damage. King Gennaro, I know that I've hurt you. I know there is nothing I can do to atone for what I did. But please, Ophelia and her children are not part of that. They do not deserve to be hated. Lucette, ... In the end, thinking to herself, in the end, they still matter more to him than I ever did. King Gennaro, Lucette. Lucette, enough. I have already said I will go. King Gennaro, ... Everyone is waiting outside. I shudder at the thought of leaving the palace after so many years. King Gennaro, Lucette, it will be okay. Lucette, how can you be so sure? King Gennaro, ... Thank you for agreeing to accompany Emmeline. Lucette, I would not disobey an order from the king. King Gennaro, ... Lucette, excuse me. Girl. Okay. Presumably they're now in town at the aforementioned toy shop based on the background. So, and girl is probably person from behind the counter. Hello, how can I help? Emmeline. No, I looked at that and I saw Victoria, but it's Viorica. Viorica? I'm gonna go with Viorica. Names. Viorica. Emmeline! I mean, Princess Emmeline! How good to see you! I trail Emmeline, ignoring her as she embraces her friend. I glance around the small shop. The dolls displayed are nowhere near the quality of the ones in my room. Lucette, thinking to herself, I cannot understand why Emmeline insisted she buy gifts for her friends here. ... I cannot believe I am outside the palace. Fritz. There is no need to be so tense, Princess. I would never let anything happen to you. Your only job is to relax and enjoy yourself. Lucette. You ask the impossible of me. Fritz. ... I need a better thing to say there than ... Maybe, I don't know if, like, so Fritz. Ellipsis. No, ellipsis doesn't have the same ring, and not everyone necessarily will know what that means. I could go back to saying silence. Says nothing? Maybe I will say says nothing. Yeah. Okay. Fritz. Pointed silence? Maybe I could go with pointed silence. I am way overthinking this. Okay. Fritz. Silence. I'll try going back to silence. Emmeline. There's no need to be formal, Viorica. I'm still the same as I was. Emmeline. Oh yes, Rod's come along as well. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to read her name twice. Rod. It's been a while, Viorica. Viorica. It's good to see you again too, Rod. Emmeline. And I must introduce you to Her Highness, the Crown Princess Lucette. Viorica. Alarmed! Exclamation points. The look on Viorika's face as she takes a step back from me is all too familiar. Fear. Viorika. My apologies for being so rude, Your Highness. Good morning. Lucette. Silence. Viorika. Lots of visuals. Emmeline. Ah! And this is Sir Fitzgerald, Sir Alcaster's son. Fritz. It's a pleasure to meet you, my lady. Viorika. Oh, you're Sir Fitzgerald? Why? Sorry. Why, Otome Games, do you use names like this? Why not just call him Fitzgerald? Why must he be Fitzgerald? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I should be used to this. I read enough manga like this. Viorika. Oh, you're Sir Fitzgerald. You really are as handsome as Emmeline described in her letters. Fritz. I'm sorry? Emmeline. Exclamation points! Plus blushy face. Please don't mind her, Sir Fitzgerald. Lucette. Sweat drop. Viorika. I'm sorry, Emmeline. Fritz. Right. Emmeline. Viorika. So, what brings you all the way here? Emmeline. Oh, I'm here to get some toys. Gifts for some new friends. Viorika. Toys from here? Are you sure? Emmeline. Of course I am. I cross my arms. Lucette. I would prefer we finish this errand as quickly as possible. Viorika. Exclamation points and sad face. Yes, of course. I'm sorry, Your Highness. Rod. Agitated silence. Princess. No, Fritz. Princess. Lucette, thinking to herself, I can barely breathe in here. I just want to go back to the palace. Okay, to be fair, like, Lucette is clearly having agoraphobia, panicky reactions to things. Okay, so here's a question. This person was definitely presented as one of the love interests, and they're being described here as a beautiful lady. But if I know my anime tropes, and similar genre, and I do, I suspect that we are going to find out that this person is not, strictly speaking, a lady. I mean, unless they play the character entirely female, but I'm disappointed because I would actually really like for one of the love interests to genuinely be female, but more likely to be cross-dressing man. Well, maybe the game will pleasantly surprise me. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with a cross-dressing male character if they're portrayed, as long as they're not portrayed inherently offensively, but I guess we'll find out, because I don't know. Beautiful lady. Good morning. Lucette. Exclamation points. Fritz. Exclamation points. Rod. Silence. Up until this point, I had always considered Mother to be the fairest beauty in the land. The lady that walks in proves me wrong. Oh, man. Well, again, would be nice if this character just was female and was then a romance option for Lucette, but even if the character is later revealed to just be cis male, yeah, I'm still reading Lucette as bi. That's fine. Her beauty is mesmerizing and clearly without peer. Everyone in the shop is openly staring. Viorika. Oh, you're here early today, ma'am. Okay, you know what? I might have to just take back I might have to eat my own words, take back everything I said. Either this may just be a straight up, this character may be a lady. And I mean, they may be a cis or trans lady, but they may legitimately be a lady. Viorika. Oh, you're early today, ma'am. Beautiful lady. I have some important errands to run later today. Are the items ready now? Viorika. Oh, of course. Let me go and fetch them for you. I'll just be one moment, Emmeline. Beautiful lady. Silence. Probably more of like a pause, silence. Lucette thinking to herself, why is she smiling at me? Okay, this character, I recall correctly, was named Karma, and I do like that costume visual. Vairika, here you are, ma'am. Beautiful lady. Thank you. Emmeline, ah, that lady was beautiful. Vairika, right? Any girl standing next to her becomes hopelessly ugly by comparison. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna guess that Karma has some kind of Snow White curse going on there. Emmeline, who is she? Vairika, she's new around town. Some say that she's a fairy. Lucette, a fairy? Lucette was thinking to herself as she thought, fairy. Fairies had saved Angèle from the witches 4 years ago. Everyone considered them to be our saviors. And yet, the fairies are still unable to stop the fairy tale curse from spreading. Vairika, here you go. Thank you so much. Emmeline, no, thank you, Vairika. I hope to drop by again soon. Vairika, good. I'll look forward to seeing you again. I hope to see you again soon as well, Rod. Rod, likewise. Lucette, thinking to herself, leaving the palace was a bad idea. While I am out, I am the center of attention. Some townsfolk point and stare at me. Most, however, make a point of avoiding me, like I am the plague. There are some spiteful stares, but thankfully none are nearly as intense as they were 4 years ago. Lucette, silence. Emmeline, I'm sure this townsfolk are only surprised to see you again after so many years. Lucette, right. Fritz and Rod lag behind us, which leaves only Emmeline walking beside me. Lucette thinking to herself, I cannot decide which is worse, the staring or her company. Emmeline, oh, Lucette, look, a street performance. It's been so long since I last watched one. Lucette thinking to herself, street performance? Boy, good day, everybody. Oh, and I'm being given the option to save my game, which implies that it's some kind of key point of the story. If it's going to encourage me to save the game, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to take a second and I'm going to drink some water because I have been talking this entire time straight because this is definitely not a voiced game. Ergo, I am voicing it. All right. I am also just going to check on some things, so give me just a moment. And we get some pleasant background to listen to as we do. All right. Okay, a little bit more water. All right, let's get back to it. Good day, everyone. My name is Waltz, and I'm here to spread some happiness and magic. Rose petals suddenly appear. The boy named Waltz snaps his fingers and colorful flower petals start to rain down from the sky. Emmeline, isn't that pretty, Lucette? Lucette. Silence. Waltz. And are those the princesses over there? It is an honor to have you in attendance. Please accept this humble gift. He snaps his fingers and white lilies appear in his hand. Emmeline. Oh, thank you. Lucette. Silence. Waltz. Dejected silence. The boy looks at me as if expecting some kind of reaction. When he gets nothing from me, he sighs and gives me a wry smile. Waltz. I hope to see you again during my next show. Emmeline. We'll definitely try. He gracefully bows before moving back into his area to perform more magic tricks for a gathered crowd. Emmeline. There are performers like this all around Angiel. I love them. Maybe someday we'll get to see some musicians, too. Those are my favorite. Lucette. I do not intend to leave the palace again. Emmeline. Shuck. But you don't like it out here? Rod and I grew up here. I love Angiel, and this is my favorite part of the kingdom. Lucette. Agitated silence. Emmeline. I wanted to share this with you, Lucette. I know you didn't really want to come, but you still tagged along. That means a lot to me, so thank you. Lucette. I did not do this for you. I am only here because the king ordered me to go with you. Emmeline. Dejected silence. I just want us to be closer, Lucette. I would like to try to be your friend. Lucette. I do not want or need your friendship. Emmeline. Shuck. Yeah, I've decided instead of exclamation points, I'm going to say shuck, because I think that's better. Or alarm, or words rather than describing the punctuation seems like the way to go. Lucette. No matter how you act around me, we are not and will never be sisters. I'd take care to remember that if I were you. Emmeline. But I... Rod suddenly grabs my hand, pulling me away from Emmeline. Rod. Stop. He is staring daggers at me. I think this is the first time I've ever seen him angry. Emmeline. Rod, don't... Lucette. Let me go. Rod. Agitated silence. Lucette. Both of you ought to stay away from me. I feel the heavy atmosphere as I turn to look at the people staring at us. Their expressions mirror the looks of disdain I saw years ago. Anger, disgust, hatred. I begin to walk away. Fritz. Princess, wait! Lucette. Don't follow me. Fritz. Princess! I adjust my cloak, making sure my face is hidden from view. I never should have left the palace. As I walk around, I watch the people bumbling down the streets. So carefree. They work so hard for so little reward. They could work their entire lives and never have a fraction of what I have. And yet, they are happy. And I... Silence. Woman A. I heard Annis lost her job at the palace. Woman B. It's true. Crown Princess Lucette made sure the poor girl was fired. I stop in my tracks at the mention of my name. Woman A. Not again. Lucette. Annis? Was that the name of that one maid that tore Delora's dress? If so, my decision to fire her was justified. A palace maid cannot be clumsy. Why should I tolerate poor performance? Lucette thinking to herself. What did I do that was so wrong? You were very stuck up. Woman B. I know that, Annis. Hardworking and big-hearted. Very good with medicine. Shame she lost her job so quickly. Woman A. You know how hard the Crown Princess is to please. My friend at the palace says she doesn't even smile, only goes around with that cold look on her face. That's probably why they call her the Ice Princess. Lucette. Shut. Thinking to herself, Ice Princess? So all the times I heard the servants saying that, I'd always suspected they were talking about me. Woman A. She's the complete opposite of our Princess Emmeline. That child's an angel. We all know she should be Crown Princess. Annoyance begins to simmer inside of me. I cannot stand hearing any more, so I walk away. Ever since Emmeline entered my life, I am always being compared to her. And now I have become second best. Lucette thinking to herself, I am Lucette Riella Breton, daughter of King Gennaro Breton III, and the crown princess of the kingdom of Angiel. I am of royal blood. She is nothing. Fritz, there you are. Lucette. Uncomfortable silence. Or maybe agitated silence? Fritz. Princess, you must come back with me. It is getting too late for you to remain outside. Lucette. Silence. Fritz. Princess? Are you all right? Are you hurt? I brush him off and turn away. Lucette. No need to fuss. Let us return to the palace. Fritz. I'm going to go with concerned silence. I like Fritz. He's trying. Leaving the palace was physically and mentally draining. Child, you have agoraphobia and it's a problem. My bed is welcoming to my unusually heavy body. I turn my head and meet Delora's glassy gaze from where she sits on my shelf. Lucette. I left the palace today, Delora. It was the same as all those years ago. Everyone looked at me like I was... What have I ever done to deserve those looks? How can I be so hated? Ice Princess. Silence. I wish Mother was here. I look at the smiling faces of my dolls. At least I still have all of you. I yawn and stretch my arms. Good night, Delora. Twinkle, twinkle... Oh, there is a voice speaking this. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder where you are. Okay, I'm sure fine it was singing, but I you know what, I'm going to test it against this music. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder where you are. Yeah, it clashes. It clashes with the background music. Lucette, singing? But who? Up above the world so high. That's really hard to sing against this background music. Like a diamond in the sky. Lucette. Agitated silence. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. I blink my eyes open, only to see Delora sitting right in front of me on my bed. Okay, content warning for creepy dolls, I guess. Moonlight spills across her delicate features. How I wonder what you are. Do I even have that right? I don't remember how to sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. That's fine. Wasn't she on the shelf with all of the other dolls when I went to bed? Laura? Delora. I knew she'd talk eventually. Knew it. Delora. It's almost time. Lucette. Shock. I pinch my cheeks to make sure I am not dreaming. It hurts. Okay, can I just say I have an objection to that whole pinch yourself to see if you're dreaming? Like, people can have really vivid dreams, like, and perceive themselves as experiencing all forms of, like, all five senses. I have definitely perceived myself experiencing pain while dreaming. Also, like, taste and, you know, sight and hear. I can, like, lots of things people say, oh, you can't do that in dreams. And I'm like, no, I've definitely read text in dreams. I have at least perceived myself as experiencing pain. Turns out dreams are crazy, yo. Anyway, Delora. Only 10 minutes before the clock strikes 12. Oh, she's a person now. Okay. This is a lot less creepy now that well, actually, no. Less creepy? More creepy? Okay, she is no longer a creepy doll. She is now a creepy human who has been in the form of a doll for God knows how long. Delora. I hope you're ready, princess. Lucette. What? My doll just turned into a human. How? Lucette. Who are you? Delora. You know who I am. I've been watching you since the day your father gave me to you. Lucette. What is happening? I don't think I have ever been so confused in my life. Legit. I'll give her this one. Like, your favorite doll suddenly is a person. Yeah. Delora. All the answers will come with time, but right now I am here to give you something, princess. Just given the visuals with the dark clothing, and then that was definitely looked like a ritual circle, I'm guessing Delora is a witch. Then again, they could be doing some kind of interesting swappy thing, and she could be a fairy, and then secretly the fairy curse is actually something the fairies created and the witches got bad rap, but I also totally believe the witches were like, unfairly got the bad rap in the first place, went, fuck you, and unleashed the curse and whatever. Anyway. Actually, apparently I'm getting invested in the plot. Lucette. Is this... Delora. Cinderella's very own glass slipper. It is beautiful. Too beautiful. Then a realization begins to dawn upon me. Lucette. You're a witch! Okay. Definitely witch. Just going with the... I mean... Can I just say Delora is hot? Just saying. It's fine. Delora. Smart girl. I knew you'd figure that out eventually. It is a little obvious. Delora. Now it's time to say goodbye to your precious crown. Lucette. What? Delora. Sweet dreams, Cinderella. Okay, to be fair, Lucette getting hit with the Cinderella curse is actually not... I mean, it will make her question her perceptions, but, like, she very clearly earlier on Lucette, the main character, established that she was of the opinion that people only got the fairy curse if they deserved it. And while I'm glad that her getting cursed is clearly going to make her question her assumptions, because she has some very problematic assumptions as a very privileged child, but also she kind of did deserve this, so yeah, there's that. Woman. Hey! Wake up, girl! Lucette. Huh? Where am I? Oh, I guess she doesn't say I. Where am... Ow, my head. Woman. You have some nerve sleeping in front of my shop. Leave before a customer sees you. Lucette. Shock. Thinking to herself, I was in my room. How am I here? Woman. Did you not hear what I said, you filthy child? Lucette. Filthy? You would speak to your crown princess in such a manner? Woman. If you're the crown princess, then I'm the queen. You must have been knocked on the head quite hard to have such grand delusions. Lucette. I am not delusional. I am Lucette Riella Breton, blood daughter of King Gennaro Breton III, and the crown princess of Angiel. Woman. Right. The king never had a daughter with that witch. You know, I'm sure that in this case, the woman is using that as an epithet against her mother, but on the other hand, I think there's a very good chance that Lucette's mother may well have been a witch. I am going to take a brief break to turn my light on because it is getting dark in here. Which really just involves me sitting up and standing up and walking over to the light switch. And since I have taken a slight break anyway, water time. Okay. Lucette, is she thinking to herself, is she referring to mother? Yes, honey, I have a feeling that she is. Out loud. Which? No, I say witch as a statement, but probably actually how she's... Lucette. Witch? Woman. Don't pretend to be stupid, girl. I can only stare at her, puzzled. Our good king... woman speaking again. Our good king only has stepchildren, Princess Emmeline and Prince Rod. And you are most definitely neither of them. Lucette. What? Woman. Now get gone before you go spouting your crazy gibberish at my customers and scare them away. With a huff, she leaves me to my own rapidly turning thoughts. I quickly realize that I'm wearing tattered clothes and that I do not even have shoes on. Lucette. Shock. No, no, no. This can't be happening. Something shines against my chest and I reach up to grab it. image is of a little Cinderella shoe on a necklace. It all floods back. Delora being a witch. Cinderella's glass slipper. This is not a dream. Lucette, out loud. Delora gave me the fairy tale curse! My hands begin to tremble. I must return to the palace to speak with the king. At the palace gates. Let me in! Knight A. Sorry, girl, but this place is off limits to uninvited guests. Lucette. You do not understand. I am Crown Princess Lucette Riella Breton. I must speak with my father. As loath as I am to call him that, I have to. No one will believe me if I am addressing him by title. Knight B. You'd best leave now, nice and quiet, before we have to force you. Lucette. If you would only... Knight C. Make way for the king! The gates swing open and 3 horses trot out. Soldiers ride 2 of the horses, while the last horse has a different, familiar rider. Lucette. Father! I immediately move to block the path of his horse. The soldiers move to hold me back. Knight B. Your Majesty! King Gennaro. What is this? Knight A. Your Majesty, this girl is claiming to be your daughter. King Gennaro. Daughter? Both of my stepchildren are in the palace right now. Lucette, thinking to herself, what? Even father is a part of this? Okay, I'm guessing she's just in the sort of denial phase, but like, yes, you definitely know how these curses work. Everyone is part of it because the whole curse is, it's fine. She'll figure it out. Lucette, father, you must help me. King Gennaro, silence. If I had to guess, skeptical silence. Lucette, a witch has cursed me. Thinking to herself, for once in your life, just once, help me. Out loud, you must believe me. King Gennaro. Sad silence? Tell me, tell me, where's your family, child? Why are you all alone? He looks at me with pity in his eyes. He is looking at me more kindly as a peasant than he ever did when I was the crown princess and his daughter. I recoil. Oh, whoops. I did not mean to hit the menu button. Return. Silence. King Gennaro. You must be hungry. Take this. I'm guessing that's a bag of money. This should feed you and your family for a day or 2. The kingdom offers work opportunities to those who need them. Please let your parents know. Wow, bold of you to assume she has parents when she's running up and calling you father. Like, I appreciate the generosity. Random street child who is clearly a peasant runs up to you very agitated and be like, here's some money for a few days worth of food. Look for some useful work. Like, yeah, okay. Like, you know, that's good of him. But, like, he does seem very sure she has parents. Anyway, Lucette, out loud. I do not want your pity. Father... King Gennaro, please escort this girl back to her home. Make sure she gets there safely. Again, bold... Like, okay, buddy, I get that you're trying, and you're like, okay, we have peasants in our kingdom that are struggling, and I should do what I can to help them. I should, you know, give them some money for a couple days of hot meals, make sure this girl makes it home safe. But again, bold of you to assume that she has parents and that she has a home. So, like, King is trying, but unshockingly, also a little out of touch. Anyway, that said, as he says, please escort this girl back to her home. Make sure she gets there safely. Knights, at once, your majesty. I watch as my father and his 2 guards ride away on their horses, leaving me to stand in their dust. Lucette thinking to herself, he left me alone. Again. Knight A. Where is your home, girl? Lucette thinking to herself, there is nowhere left for me to go. Father has forgotten me. Lucette said, out loud, leave me. Knight B. Now look here, our orders were to... Lucette. Leave. Me. Alone. Knight A. Silence. Suit yourself. Can't say we didn't try. Night B. Don't cause any more scenes, little girl. I watch with bleary eyes as the soldiers return to the palace. How can this be happening? I stare at the small pouch in my hands. Silence. I do not know what hurts more, the fact I have just been unceremoniously paraded away from my home like I am nothing more than a piece of garbage, or the fact that my own father does not recognize me. Noble woman A. Oh, look at that girl's hideous dress. Noblewoman B. How difficult it is to be poor. Wow. I mean, yeah, that tracks, but... I clutch the pouch closer to my chest as I run to an empty alley. I huddle in a corner, trying to become as small as possible. I squeeze my eyes shut, hoping that when I next open them, everything will be back to normal. Lucette. Oh, out loud. A dream? Mother. No matter what happens, you must not leave the palace. Young Lucette. Why? Mother. The world is cruel. People will only ever hurt you. Young Lucette. But they are always so nice to me. Mother. That is only because you are the crown princess. They will only ever think of what they can take from you. Young Lucette. Presumably distressed silence. Mother. I am trying to protect you, my love. That is why you must never leave the palace. Never leave Mother. I am the only one who will ever love you so much. Yeah, okay. This explains a lot of Lucette. This is exactly what I expected from her mother, and it explains a lot of Lucette's attitude, as I expected it would. Her mother had issues, and definitely raised her in a emotionally abusive fashion that led her to believe that everyone else was out to get her, and it's fine, it's fine. We're going to work on this. Anyway. Mother, do you understand? Young Lucette. I understand. Okay, so that was, I'm guessing, the prologue? And I would have just read the chapter name out loud, but I wanted to take a moment because it was a clear pause point, and then I missed the title of the chapter. What if I go back? Yes, okay. Chapter 1, The Martian. Martian? I actually am not sure how to pronounce that. And now we are back to that scene we saw at the very beginning of the game. Yeah, alright. I'm just trying to think, because this is obviously a very good stop point. And if I keep going, it will probably be until the next chapter. And that will be a while. So... Yes, okay. I'm going to continue. I'm going to go into the next chapter. But I am going to be right back first so I can refill my water. Man, if I'm hoping to continue this as a series, and I need to get some of those, like, be right back screen type things, but I do not at this time, so you will just see my empty chair. Sorry, be back in just a couple minutes. Alright, sorry about that. I'm back. I think typically I am probably more of a person who's going to do 1 hour streams roughly, which is nice because if the prologue is about the length of a chapter, then that'll be nice going forward to do it one at a time. But I figure normally I plan to actually start at 6 p.m. And today I just started a little early because I have the day off, and since it's my very first stream of this game, I'm gonna go for one more chapter, I think, and then we'll end it once we hit the end of this next chapter that is just beginning. I know I only have 2 viewers, but if anyone who is currently online viewing this has, like, any questions about the plot or anything, just toss it in chat. I can always explain anything that was missed. But yeah. All right. Let's get back to it. So, beginning of... Going back one more time just so I can remember the chapter name again because I'm bad at this. Okay. Chapter 1. The Martian. Maybe I will also take this opportunity to save the game. When I open my eyes, I am still on the streets. I must have fallen asleep. But the nightmare continues. I am cold in my rags. I hold myself for warmth, willing some of the cold away, but fail. My feet are numb and in pain, caked in a dirt that I have gathered from walking barefoot around town. Noblewoman A. Well, there's a frightful sight. Noblewoman B. Beggar probably thought she could try her luck with the nobility that live around here. Noblewoman A. Ah, just look how ragged she looks. Lucette. Agitated silence. Noblewoman A. Shock. What are you looking at? Lucette. At 2 women that lack the basic manners of a noble upbringing. Damn. Noblewoman B. Silence, girl! Do you know who you're talking to? Lucette. No, and I don't care. Noblewoman B. Shock! What nerve! Noblewoman A. Let's just go. There is no reason to stoop to a commoner's level. Lucette thinking to herself, I will remember you, and once I break this curse, I will make you regret your words. Ah, Lucette, I'm sad to tell you you were not much better. I become acutely aware of the fact that I have not eaten anything for almost a day. I have been sitting here thinking on the new mess that is my life. But moping around will not break my curse. Crying will not help either. I should find that witch first, but how? I have no idea where she is. Delora. I swear I will make you regret doing this to me. When I find you, Silence. Out loud. I will find food first. Reminding us of the pouch of money, and then she thinks to herself, is this all the king thinks I am worth? Man. Leave, girl. A dirty peasant like you has no place in this restaurant. Lucette. But why? I can pay... Man. Find another place. You're scaring away my customers. Lucette. Am I not a customer? Man. Shoo! There's nothing for you here. Lucette. He just swatted me away like a fly. The nerve. Thinking to herself, obviously. Sensing that this will get me nowhere, I ball my hands into fists and walk away. I get the same treatment at the next 3 restaurants I try. I am treated as something less than dirt, like my money has no real value. I am the crown princess. They have no right to turn me away like this. I have been eating stale bread, anything to keep the hunger at bay. The bread barely helps. Silence. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice a small bakery. Oh gosh, is this gonna be the stepmother's bakery? I bet it is. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice a small bakery. There are croissants on display that make my mouth water. Slowly, I begin to make my way over there. Ow. My feet ache with every step. They look and feel worse, even worse than before. Thinking to herself, if only I had enough coins for a pair of shoes. But food is more important. If the rags that I am wearing and the pouch of money are all that I have, then I need to prioritize. Honestly, I'm kind of impressed that she knows that, but good for her. Basic survival skills. Thinking to herself, and I will die before I beg. Okay, she has some survival skills, but... 2 croissants, she says out loud. Shop owner, you'll need to pay, girl. There are no free handouts here. I take a coin from my pouch and hand it to her. This should be more than enough. The shop owner stares at the coin before reluctantly taking it. She hands me 2 croissants in a paper bag. Shop owner, I will not ask where you got those coins. Lucette. Agitated silence. Are you implying that I stole them? Shop owner, how else would a beggar like you get that amount of coin? Begging? Wow, I mean, anyway. Now be off with you, child. I won't have you scaring away any other customers. At least she freaking sold the food. Without another word, I turn and start to walk away from the woman. So this is the goodness of the people of Angeville. Angiel. I take a bite out of one of the croissants, cringing a little at the dryness. Manet. Hey, girl! Lucette thinking to herself. What now? Man B. We saw you at that shop. Want to share how you got your coins there? Lucette. Agitated silence. Excuse me. Shock. Manet. Look at her, brushing us off like she's royalty or something. Okay, I'm just going to say right now, I'm going to predict that one of the love interests is hopefully going to swoop in and save her here, and I would like that, because this is not a fun scene. Manet. Look at her, brushing us off like she's royalty or something. Lucette. Let me go! Man B. You ain't no better than us. Now be a good girl and hand over that pouch. The man on my left grabs my pouch and attempts to yank it away from me. Lucette thinking to herself. I will not let these brutes take anything from me. I elbow the man in the stomach, then aim a kick at the other man's shin. I have an opening and I take it. Manet. What? I pull myself free and begin to run as fast as I can. Man B. Hey! Okay, fair enough. I respect that she mostly rescued herself from that situation. I mean, I still think that a love interest is going to swoop in the end of this scene here, but, like, I like that she at least started out handling it on her own. Lucette thinking to herself. Where do I go? I'm not familiar with the streets at all. It's highly likely I'm just going to hit a dead end. Oh. Hey, guess what? It's a visual novel dating sim. Hey, I have choices. I forgot that choices would be a thing because the prologue was literally just, like, there was no reason to have choices in the prologue. That was just to establish the story. Okay, man, if I start getting more viewers, I will definitely start taking, like, audience polls on choices, at least some of the time. Because, like, right now, for example, left or right, I have no basis on which to make that decision. Ergo, it is a purely random decision. I am tempted to literally flip a coin. And I have a coin here. It's kind of heavy because it's not a real coin. It's a challenge coin, and it landed on heads. Wait, I didn't decide which one was heads and which one was tails. Oh, okay, call the top one heads and the bottom one tails. So let's go left. I cannot let the pain in my feet or my exhaustion stop me. If I stop now, they will definitely catch me. And taking my coins might not be the worst thing they do. Silence. A dead end. Yeah. Okay, no, now I do want one of the male leads to swoop in and save her because this is not a comfortable scene, but it's an expected one for something like this, and it will be fine if she gets rescued, and I still like that she broke out of their grasp at first by herself. Manet. Nowhere left to run now, girl. Lucette thinking to herself. What do I do? Man. Oh, who are you, gentlemen? This is definitely not how you treat a lady. Yep. Predictable, but I still technically called it. Manet. Huh? Man B. Who's there? A shadow looms above us. Before I can blink, a person has jumped down in front of me. His body acts as a barrier between the two men and me. Ah, it's Okay, you know what? I'm absolutely headcanoning this character as gender fluid and nobody can stop me. Because this is definitely the lady from the shop, and I'm definitely, yes, who is definitely presenting male now, and I mean, unless it is a female character who is cross-dressing male. Unless something in the story stops me from doing so, I am absolutely headcanoning this character as gender fluid. Lucette, who are you? Man, oh me? Just a passing gentleman concerned about a damsel in distress. He turns to the men, his expression calm, his eyes flashing dangerously. Now, shall I teach you gentlemen a lesson? Man A, he's got a sword! It's kind of like he's got a... Well, anyway. Man B, what? Come back here, you coward! The two of us can take him! Man, I think your friend has the right idea. I'm not the type to show mercy. Oh no, I like him. Man B, shock! This is way too much trouble for a little gold. Man, are you alright, my lady? Yeah, it's definitely the same character. That's like even the same, like, pose with the... Oh, he works with Waltz. Waltz. You found her! Lucette, thinking to herself. The boy from yesterday? Man, a little slow, aren't you, kid? Waltz. Don't call me that. Lucette, thinking to herself. These two know each other? I don't even know what's going on anymore. I feel ill. My head is pounding and my feet feel simultaneously like they are frozen and on fire. My stomach rumbles, the hunger coming back with a vengeance. My body feels light. Man. Princess! Wait. Oh, haha! The fact that he's calling her princess. I mean, I guess it could just be like a term of endearment, but definitely seems like these two maybe actually know who she is. And that could be why Waltz was looking for her. Waltz. Princess! Waltz. Lady Parfait will be able to help. Lady Parfait! Are you kidding me? Okay, I look forward to meeting Lady Parfait. I guess there could also be a situation where the woman from the shop and the man from now are like twins or something, but I will like it better if they are the same character. Men, you're right. We need to move now before anyone else sees us. Waltz. Yeah. Oh, okay. I was like, you have made the right choice. And I'm like, you mean between left and right? Because if you were telling me there was a right choice between the very first choice in the game that but no, it's fine, it's fine. What they are saying is that, unshockingly, I made a choice that was a good choice for one of the love interest paths, presumably Karma's. And if I had gone right, it probably would have been the choice for someone else's path. There are two characters in this so far that I'm liking enough that I might actually go through and replay to do the other character's story. So, I mean, maybe I'll try to go through all 5 and get, like, see if there's a true ending, but I will at least try to commit to doing 2 of their routes. Anyway, you have made the right choice. The crystal on the upper right corner indicates that you've made the right choice for a particular love interest. Each color corresponds to a certain love interest. They also appear belatedly after you make a choice, so keep your eyes and ears open. So, yep, red must be for Karma, so I am liking this character. Maybe I will just take advantage of this first choice being a good one for this character and just roll with that. Hang in there, princess. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself, everything is fading. And fade to black. Lucette. A dream? Oh, babby Lucette being poorly treated by her mother again, I'm guessing, is what we're getting here. Mother. What is that in your hands, Lucette? Young Lucette. It was hurt. I just wanted to help it, but it died. It's all my fault. Okay, fine. This is her mother being... Mother. It's not your fault, my love. It died oh, never mind. This is her mother continuing to be awful. Mother. It died because it was weak. Young Lucette. But... Mother. This is the world, Lucette. Only the strong survive. The weak get cast aside to die. Lucette, your mother was awful. You are not weak. You are strong, my crown princess, and you do not cry. Now wipe your tears. Her mother was awful. I mean, telling people not to cry is toxic in general. There is nothing wrong with crying. But, like, telling your young child not to cry is always, always toxic. I mean, okay, to be fair, there can be like oh, don't cry, it's okay. But, like, if you're saying, don't cry because crying is a sign of weakness, just, pro tip, that's bad. Don't do that. Mother, now wipe away your tears. I don't want to see you cry again. Do you understand? See rant that I just had. Young Lucette. Yes. Mother, now get rid of that thing and wash your hands. Young Lucette. Silence. Mother, did you not hear me, child? Young Lucette. Yes, Mother. Okay, I'm going to go with content warning for emotionally abusive parent. Yep. Her mother was heckin' abusive. And fucked up. And definitely fucked her up. Lucette. Silence. Girl. Oh, you're awake. Lucette. Where am I? Girl. Lucette. This isn't my room. I was about to say, Lucette, have you not? Yes, okay. I'm guessing that shock moment is her everything catching up to her and her remembering. My hand flies to my chest, where the little glass slipper hangs from my neck. And we see the little glass slipper again. Still here. Girl. Are you okay, miss? This girl... Oh! Already facing her own comeuppance. This girl is the maid that tore... Lucette, thinking to herself, this girl is the maid that tore Delora's dress. And for anyone who missed the earlier segment, we heard townspeople gossiping earlier about how awful it was of the Crown Princess to fire her for apparently no good reason. She thinks to herself, well, it was for a good reason. She ripped my doll's dress. And, like, no, that's not an especially good reason. Anyway. So Lucette continuing to think to herself, the one I fired for her clumsiness. Girl. Miss? Lucette, thinking to herself, to think I would meet her again here, like this. Silence. Girl. Lucette, leave me alone. Girl. Dismayed silence. Lucette, annoyed silence. Girl. Right, of course. Here's some salve I made for you. It'll help with the pain. Lucette. Now what? Oh, hi, Delora. Okay. I'm guessing that Delora is doing this all as a big teaching moment for Lucette, but it's still okay. I don't know how I feel about Delora other than her design is definitely attractive. Anyway, Delora. Haven't thought at all, have you, Ice Princess? Lucette. You! Suddenly there she is. Delora stands before me with a snide smile, looking happy with herself. Lucette, thinking to herself, she is the cause of everything I have been through. All the pain, heartache, and hunger. It is her fault. I try to stand, thinking to give the witch a piece of my mind, but as soon as my feet touch the floor, pain shoots up through my legs. I end up falling back to the bed. Ow! Delora, you should be more grateful to the girl you just scared away. She's been taking care of you for the past 2 days. Lucette. 2 days? Thinking to herself, I've been passed out for 2 days? I am suddenly vibrating with anger. Lucette. Remove the curse. Now. Delora. Ha! Do you think you can just command me to remove the curse in your best princess voice? Oh no, I kind of like Delora. Lucette. What do you want? Gold? Delora. What I want is worth more than all the gold you could summon in Angiel, princess. I should probably try to match how I am doing Delora's tone with the expression on her face. Delora. Besides, haven't you read your fairy tales? The caster cannot take a curse back. You need to focus on breaking the curse yourself if you want your life back. Lucette. Mother burned the books before I could read more than one or two of them. Thinking to herself, I do not think either involved curses, just genies and trading away your voice for legs. Okay, so we've got apparently 1001 Nights and Little Mermaid, which will not help her here. Oh, lady. Oh, this might be Lady Parfait. She looks like a Lady Parfait. Ah, it's good that you're awake, princess. Ah, I was right. Ha ha ha. Oh, I'm sorry. So, a thing to know about me, I ship characters very easily, and they have a very good light and dark thing going on, and then Delora's very first words to her being, like, looking super concerned, Parfait, should you really be up and about? And I'm sorry, I ship them. Unless it is found out that they are, like, related or something. I ship it, and the game cannot stop me. Delora, Parfait, should you really be up and about? Parfait, don't fuss, I'm feeling much better. Lucette, oh, I bet Parfait is a fairy, just visually, it looks like fairy and witch. Lucette, are you a witch as well? Parfait, oh no, my name is Parfait and I am a fairy. Lucette, agitated silence. Thinking to herself, a witch and a fairy in one room, being friendly with one another? Impossible. Delora, oh, look at her face. You weren't expecting that at all, were you, princess? Lucette, what is going on? Parfait, I'm sure you have many questions, princess. Lucette, how do you know I am the princess? Delora, don't be silly, she's a fairy, of course she knows. I ship them a lot. I ship them a lot. They have a very good, like, visually, they kind of have a good bubblegum Marceline vibe. Anyway, Parfait, I promise we'll do our best to answer your questions. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. That definitely just brought it back. Good to know. Apparently my mouse wheel can do the back forward thing. Lucette, annoyed silence. Thinking to herself, I don't even know where to start. Parfait, what would you like to know? Okay, if the game lets me, I'm definitely going to go down this list of questions one by one. And I will be very sad if it tells me I cannot ask every single one of these questions. Okay, so, hoping to go down the full list. Step 1. Why was I cursed? Delora, seriously? You're really going to ask that? I mean, okay, to be fair, the player can really easily see why Lucette was cursed. It's clearly to teach her a lesson. Therefore, Delora being like, you really need to ask me that is not surprising, but Lucette would not automatically know that, so. Lucette, I wouldn't have asked if I knew the answer. Delora, you have such a temper on you. Very well, this one's got a simple answer. It's because you're a cold-hearted, cruel, wicked princess who deserves to be punished. Okay, on the one hand, Delora has a point. On the other hand, I do have some sympathy for... I wouldn't phrase it so harshly because I have some sympathy for the fact that a lot of Lucette's behaviors are learned behaviors from her abusive mother. But it was resulting in her being cold-hearted and cruel, so that's not wrong. I just think the wicked is maybe the step too far, but... Anyway. Also, deserves to be punished is not... I don't know. I feel more like... deserves to be put in a position that will help her learn better behavior is more my stance on it. Anyway. In fact, I was about to say, you know what? I bet Parfait will immediately object to her strong language. And I was right. Parfait going, Delora, a curse is the only way to force you to change your horrid ways. Parfait, Delora, you could have put that more nicely. Delora, I'm pretty sure I was already being nice. Oh, I love them. I love everything about them. I love them both as characters individually, and I love their dynamic. This is great. These are great characters. Good job, game. Anyway. Actually, okay, this might be a little annoying, but I'm gonna go back to the beginning of this question because I've interrupted it many times. So, Lucette asks why she has been cursed. Dolores like, are you serious? You don't know? Lucette's like, of course I don't know, or I wouldn't have asked. And now we're going to read straight through without interruption. Delora. You have such a temper on you. Very well, this one's got a simple answer. It's because you're a cold-hearted, cruel, wicked princess who deserves to be punished. Parfait. Delora. Delora. A curse is the only way to force you to change your horrid ways. Parfait. Delora, you could have put that more nicely. Delora. I'm pretty sure I was already being nice. Lucette. Change? Why do I need to change? Delora. Are you completely unaware of how heartless you are to other people? The coldness you show to your stepfamily and your father? Parfait. The way you treat Princess Emmeline? Lucette. Why would they need to be treated any differently? Delora. You need to prove that you have some goodness in you, princess. Some smidge of kindness. Lucette. Why? People only show you kindness when they want something from you. The instant they get what they want, they'll just throw you away. That sounds like something her mother told her so many times it became a rote in her head. That sucks, and I hope Lucette learns that her mother was terrible and she shouldn't listen to her. Well, you know, oftentimes when you have a problematic parental figure like that, it takes a long time to unlearn that sort of stuff, so. Anyway, the instant they get what they want, they'll just throw you away. Parfait. Concerned silence. What else would you like to know? Okay. How do I break the curse? Delora. The necklace you've got is one of Cinderella's glass slippers. To break the curse, you must get the second slipper. Complete the pair. Lucette. And how do I do that? Parfait. By doing 3 good deeds. Lucette. What? Delora. It's a very easy thing to do. At least for somebody who knows how to be good. Lucette, thinking to herself. 3 good deeds? What does that even mean? I wouldn't even know where to start. And honestly, that's so sad, Lucette. I'm genuinely starting to come around and be sad for you. It's like an explanation, not an excuse, so I'm glad that there's definitely this intent in the game to, like, teach her better behavior, but, like, it's sad that she was taught that by her mother. Anyway, parfait. Take heart, princess. Goodness is innate in everyone. Delora, are you sure that's the case with this one? Parfait. Delora, you are not helping. Delora, I'm a witch, and I think I have more goodness in my big toe than she has in her entire body. Parfait. Now you're just being mean. Lucette. Dismayed silence. Parfait. For every good deed you accomplish, you will get a piece of the glass slipper. When you've gotten all 3, you'll complete the pair and the curse will break. Simple. Delora. I suggest you start by polishing that attitude of yours. Yeah, I like them both a lot as characters. I relate a lot more to Parfait. Anyone who knows me will not be surprised by this. Okay, next question. What happens if I don't break the curse? Delora. I think you know the answer to that one already, princess. Lucette. Silence. Okay, fine. It was about... The answer is probably, and then I am cursed forever, but I wanted to ask all the questions. Sorry if my water bottle makes weird noises. Anyway, finally, a question I am actually very intrigued by. Why are you 2 working together? Parfait. To answer that, we'll have to give you a bit of a history lesson. Delora. Oh, I've got this. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, there were 2 crystals. Parfait. Dramatics aside, there is one crystal in the kingdom called Crystallum Lucis. Oh, hey, anyone who missed the opening, this was all explained in the opening to the game. Parfait. So yeah, let me go back. Dramatics aside, there is only one crystal in the kingdom called the Crystallum Lucis. It is powered by happiness and love. The other one is the Crystallum Tenebrarum, powered by fear and anger. The strongest of the witches is the Tenebrarum bearer. The strongest of the fairies is the Lucis bearer. Delora. Parfait is the Lucis bearer. I take in Parfait's frail and sickly appearance. Lucette thinks to herself. She is the strongest fairy? Parfait. The Great War greatly damaged me. My powers are a fraction of what they used to be. And with no child, I have no successor to my burden. Lucette. What does a bearer do? Delora. The bearers regulate the energy of the crystals and keep the balance between darkness and light. Parfait. For centuries, the fairies and witches lived in harmony with the humans of the kingdom. Delora. Until a certain human decided to be a pest. Lucette. Who was he? Ha 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 ha. Sorry, I'll laugh at this once I've read it out loud. Parfait. I knew him as Hans Gabriel Grimm. He wrote the fairy tales. Okay. So first of all, the fact that his first name is Hans and he has 3 names, Hans Christian Andersen. Grimm is obviously Brothers Grimm. And I don't know what the Gabriel is referencing, but I have to imagine it is probably something I'm not placing, and that is so many references in one name, and I appreciate it. Anyway, so he wrote the fairy tales. Delora. And he started the feud between the witches and the fairies in the process. Lucette. How could a single person have so much power? Parfait. It was the power of his words. In Grimm's stories, the witches were always evil. The humans naturally grew to fear and hate them. They began to hunt them. Lucette. Didn't the witches fight back? Delora. We aren't allowed to use our powers to cause harm. But that all changed when the Tenebrarum bearer decided revenge was more important than our promise. Parfait. The witches took over the kingdom. They created the fairy tale curse to spread even more sadness and anger, to fill the human heart with negative emotions. All to fuel the power of the Tenebrarum. The delicate balance of harmony between the crystals was broken. The witches and the Tenebrarum grew far stronger than they were ever meant to be. We had no choice but to fight. And then the Great War happened. The Tenebrarum bearer was eventually defeated. The Great War was ended with the help of an unexpected ally, but... Delora. Many lives were lost. The good witches suffered horribly. We still have to stay hidden in hopes of having any kind of peace. Lucette. Are you trying to make me believe there are good witches? Lucette, you literally said something earlier in the game about how maybe the witches had the right idea or something, and you're now sitting here... It's fine. Parfait. The Tenebrarum can poison a heart and mind into darkness and cruelty. The witches put themselves at risk in working with the Tenebrarum, in maintaining harmony. Some inevitably are corrupted. Delora. Many good witches were corrupted during the war. Most remain that way. Parfait. Many do not believe it, but witches can be just as kind as fairies. Lucette. And yet it wasn't a fairy who cursed me. Delora. I've done good by cursing you, princess. You'll thank me when you've broken it. Parfait. Delora was not corrupted by the Tenebrarum. She is as good as they come. Hopefully you'll come to see that for yourself. I should be. Lucette. I doubt it. Delora. Apart from my own inherent goodness, Parfait and I are working together because we have a common goal. Lucette. Which is? Parfait. To restore the balance between darkness and light. Lucette. Thinking to herself. 3 good deeds and I get my life back. Easier said than done. Lucette. Out loud. You said Cinderella, didn't you? Didn't she just go to a ball and find a prince? What does good have to do with that? Delora. Going to a ball, finding a prince, it's all so old-fashioned. No fun in that. Parfait. Cinderella is a girl with a pure heart. She's always willing to help others, even when they are cruel to her. Lucette. Agitated silence. Or maybe skeptical silence. Parfait. Anyway, I have brought some clothes for you. I'll leave them on the table. We'll be waiting outside. There are some people I'd like you to meet. Lucette. Agitated silence. I cannot believe this. I look down at my neatly bandaged feet. I have to admit that, while sore, they are nowhere near as painful as they had been 2 days before. Remembering... They keep calling her girl, but, like, we, the players, theoretically know her name is Annis, but yeah, Lucette would not remember that. Girl. Here's some salve I made for you. It'll help with the pain. Lucette. Why would she even care? I was the reason she lost her job at the palace. Oh, she probably doesn't remember me as the princess. But still, she has no reason to do such things for me. I ignore the solve for the time being and gingerly stand up, testing my feet for pain. The injury is definitely healing. I slowly walk over to the table and change into the clothes that have been left there. The dress is nowhere near as luxurious as the ones that I wear in the palace, but still it is far improved from my rags. Out loud. All my life I've never had to lift a finger, and now... Silence. Thinking to herself. I will not let them see how much they have rattled me. I refuse to break. Just watch me. I will free myself from this curse. Like, I do think Lucette has some, like, good core instincts, and I think that maybe this will actually be a really good, like, teaching experience for her, and she will become a better person for it. Because I really feel like a lot of what she needs to do is break out of the, like, shitty programming her mother, like, drilled into her head. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself, what is this place? There are several people in the room chatting amiably with each other. I noticed that the girl that had left me the salve by the counter, serving drinks. But as soon as the people in the room notice me, the room falls into immediate silence. Lucette. Silence. Woman A. Well, look what we have here. The Ice Princess herself. Lucette. Huh? They know who I am? Thinking to herself. Woman B. I didn't think it was true. Man. Cursed for her cold-heartedness. Woman B. As is to be expected. Lucette. You remember who I am, and yet you still treat me like this? Woman A. Well, shoot. Well, you aren't really a princess anymore, are you? You're one of us now, girl. Lucette. Agitated silence. Parfait. Everyone, please. You shouldn't be treating a newcomer like this. Princess, let me apologize. They mean no offense. Parfait, that's sweet of you to say, but actually, no, in this case, I actually do think they mean full offense. In fact, Lucette thinking, I cannot believe that. Not when the people Parfait is referring to simply smirk and shrug as I meet their gazes. Lucette. What is this place? Parfait. Welcome to the Martian Tavern, a home for those with the fairy tale curse. Delora. You make it sound like some kind of holiday house. Parfait. Don't ruin my moment, Delora. Lucette. Martian. Tavern? The Martian was built 3 years ago. Oh, Parfait speaking. The Martian was built 3 years ago when the number of cursed in Angiel continued to rise. The goal is to gather those affected so that they might help each other break their curse. Of course, I am also here to provide help as necessary. Only the cursed and those allied with our cause may stay here. The evil and the wicked can never find this place. Lucette thinking to herself, most of the people here are cursed? Out loud, how come these people remember who I am? Parfait, the cursed are not affected by the conditions of someone else's curse. Your condition is simple. Everyone has forgotten you are the crown princess. But because these people here are cursed, they still remember your title. Delora, it goes without saying that the fairies and witches are also not affected. Parfait, come, princess, let me introduce you to the few boarders we have at the Martian. Parfait beckons the serving girl over. Parfait, this is Anis. She helps out in the Martian and does most of the cooking. Delora, I'm sure you understand why she's working here now. Lucette, that of course being to chide Lucette because this is the girl that she fired. Lucette, silence. Delora, I believe she deserves an apology. Anis, Miss Delora, what are you talking about? Delora, don't worry your sweet little head over it. You don't remember what this ice princess did to you. Anis, huh? Lucette, I have nothing to apologize for. Thinking to herself, clumsiness does not befit a palace maid. I only did what was necessary. Anis, well, it's nice to meet you, princess. I'm Anis Willow. I hope we get along. Okay, I'm just gonna take a moment here though, because I have concerns now. Like, why does Annis not remember being fired from the palace? Is there something weird done to her memory that is, or is she just? I'm not gonna worry about it for now unless the game tells me more. Lucette, silence. Annis, also silence. Lucette, more silence. Annis, Delora. Really? This is how you're going to start doing good? Lucette. I don't believe I asked for your opinion. Parfait. Please, you two. No fighting. Lucette. Silence. Irritated silence, I dare say. I hold my tongue as Parfait leads me to two people whose faces are incredibly familiar. They are faces I have seen in the palace before. Yeah, because I was about to say, I look at them and I'm like, I don't think they're familiar at all, but... Parfait. This is... Lucette. Jurien Valiant and Garland Belrot. Jurien. Shock. How did you know? Lucette. Both of you were in the Order of Caldera. Jurien. Silence. Garland. That's right. Lucette. They were two of Sir... Thinking to herself. They were two of Sir Alcaster's best knights. It was a big surprise when they both left a year ago. I only found out recently that it was because they acted against Sir Alcaster's orders. They were stripped of their titles and dishonorably discharged from service. Out loud. What are you two doing here? Garland. We help the fairies. Parfait. They and Annis are exceptions, and are allowed in this tavern without the curse. Jurien and Garland lend us their strength to help protect the Martian. Lucette. Protect? Delora. From the witches. They'd do anything to make sure their curses remain unbroken. Lucette. And what about you? Delora. I am an exception. Also, I am good. You keep forgetting the good part. Parfait. Remember, not all witches are evil. Delora. Your curse is a test. Lucette. A test? Delora. Originally, the wicked were cursed so that they could learn to change. Their curses were meant to teach them a lesson. I'm hoping your curse will teach you a lesson too, Ice Princess. I really am only trying to help you. Lucette. I don't need you to show me how to change. I just want my life back. Delora. Well, to do that, you'll have to break your curse. Lucette. Irritated silence. Parfait. Try and make some friends, Princess. They might be able to help you break your curse. Delora. Oh, I'd love to hang around and watch the princess try to be friendly. Parfait. We have work to do, Delora. Delora. Fine. Delora. Try not to make any more enemies, Princess. The instant Parfait and Delora leave the room, the temperature drops several degrees. Now that I am alone, I feel the cold stares return. Disgust. Contempt. As if I am the reason they are cursed and have to take refuge in the March End in the first place. Lucette. Stressed silence. Thinking to herself, make friends? All I've ever had are my dolls. I've never needed friends. I will break this curse on my own. Out loud. I was told it was rude to stare. One man suddenly stands up, the anger apparent on his face. His hands clench and unclench into fists as he glares at me pointedly. Jurien and Garland place themselves in front of me, shielding me from the man. Jurien. You know the rules. What happened in the past stays in the past. Garland. And no one is allowed to harm anyone else in the March End. Garland. If you cannot comply, you are no longer welcome here. Man. Tch. No matter. The Ice Princess will get what's coming to her. He throws one last glare my way before sitting down again. Jurien. Break the rules and you'll get what's coming to you. That goes for everyone here. Jurien's tone is cold and firm. There is no doubt that she means what she says. Okay, finally, I figured out which one is which. That one is Jurien, that one is Garland. Lucette, thinking to herself. So these are the great knights of the Order of Caldera. The March End begins to settle down, and everyone eventually goes back to their conversations and meals. I walk towards an empty table, realizing that I'm being deliberately ignored. I become immersed in my thoughts as I sit down. One thought, however, comes to me immediately. Thinking to herself, they hate me. They hate me somehow, when I've only ever left the palace twice in my life. How did this happen? The only people who treated me with any respect were Annis, Jurian, and Garland. Thinking to herself, is it because they cannot remember who I am? Maybe being in the Martian is not such a good idea. I doubt anyone here wants to help me break my curse. They'd probably rather see me suffer under its weight. 3 good deeds? How am I supposed to complete 3 when I do not know if I can even accomplish 1? Beautiful lady, may I join you? I look up and stare in shock at the beautiful lady from the toy shop. Her beauty still manages to take my breath away. What is she doing here? You, out loud, you were in the toy shop. Beautiful lady. Ah, yes, I was there picking up some items for a friend. I am humbled. You still remember me? Oh, sparkles! Sparkles! Beautiful lady. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Miss Karma. And she has face sparkles. Lucette. Your name is Karma? Karma. A suitable name for someone as beautiful as me, no? Lucette. Silence. Waltz. Karma, your narcissism is going to scare the princess away. Lucette. Oh. You are that magician boy. Waltz. Boy? Karma. Oh, how appropriate. Boy. Waltz. Call me that one more time and I'll ruin that pretty face of yours. Karma. Shuck. You would hit a lady? How savage. Waltz. Awkward silence. Lucette. Agitated silence. Waltz. Anyway, I am Waltz Cresswell. I have the Neverland curse. Oh, I see. So Waltz is actually an adult and he's cursed to look like a child. Got it. Waltz. What about you, princess? What's your fairy tale curse? Lucette. Silence. Does everyone share what the curse is? Waltz. We talk about it freely in the Marchen. The whole point is helping each other break our curses, after all. Hard to do that if we keep our fairy tales quiet. He pauses, then narrows his eyes slightly. Well, some people keep their fairy tales a secret. He eyes Karma briefly, cocking an eyebrow. The smile never leaves Karma's face. Lucette. Has anyone managed to break their curse? Okay, actually, I'm going to pause for a moment to theorize some that... Is Karma's curse actually shifting so that she is a woman at night and then he is a man at night? She is a woman at day and he is a man at night? I want the character to be gender fluid and not because curse, but we'll see. Right. Lucette, has anyone managed to break their curse? Waltz. I've been told that a few have. Lucette. A few? That's not very reassuring. Waltz. Well, at least the curses can be broken. Lucette. I cannot particularly say that that reassures me either. Karma. What ails you, darling? Is it your curse? You can talk to us about it. Tell us what it is. Lucette. Hesitant silence. Cinderella. Karma. Oh, goodness. Cinderella. Waltz. That explains the nature of your curse. Only, it's been reversed, hasn't it? Karma. Riches to rags. Lucette. That's one way of putting it. Waltz. Karma, you're not helping. Well, you really are better off ignoring him, princess. He mostly speaks nonsense. Okay. Lucette. Silence. He? Yeah, I knew we were going to deal with it one way or another, eventually. Karma. Silence. Waltz. Silence. Parfait. Princess? Parfait having just walked in. Parfait's voice takes me by surprise. I hadn't even noticed her entering the room again. Parfait. May I speak with you? Parfait. I'd like you to meet someone, though I am sure you already know him quite well. Rod. Oh man, her stepbrother. Silence. Lucette. Rod? Rod. So you really are cursed. I am guessing that Rod is also cursed, and that's why he remembers her. Parfait. I was the one that gave Sebi to Rod. I was the one who gave Sebi to Rod so that he still had some way to voice his opinions. We established early on that Rod does not actually speak. There is a bunny that speaks for him. Lucette. Sebi? Parfait. Short for Sebastian. Cute, isn't it? Sebi. It's nice to meet you, princess. Sebi's voice changes when it greets me. The tone it uses is... Oh, lower. Oh, no. The tone it uses is lower whenever it speaks for Rod. Okay, so my voice was valid. Perhaps that is what Rod's voice actually sounds like? Lucette, thinking to herself. Wait, if he remembers me, does that mean... Rod. The mermaid's curse. Lucette. What? Rod. That is my curse. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself. Rod has been mute all this time because he is cursed? Out loud. Does everyone else know? Rod. Obviously, they are my family. Lucette. Even the king? Rod. He knows as well. Lucette. So am I the only one you never told? Rod. I didn't think you'd particularly care either way. Lucette. Silence, but wherein she probably cannot deny that it is true. In fact, thinking to herself, he is not wrong. Yet I cannot believe I did not know. I was left out once again. Out loud. What are you doing here? Parfait. I have been trying to help Rod with his curse. That is why he comes to the Marchen from time to time. Rod. But I don't even want... Silence. Anyway, I only came here today to confirm that you were truly cursed. I wanted to see it with my own eyes. It was a big surprise when I woke up one day and you weren't in the palace. An even bigger surprise when I found out no one remembered you. Lucette, thinking to herself, it's been days since I was cursed. I wonder. Out loud. How are things in the palace? Rod. Livelier. Happier. Lucette. Happier? Rod. I've never seen my family happier than they are now. Harsh. I'd say it's a good thing that you aren't a princess anymore. Lucette. Shock. Thinking to herself, I'd always thought Rod didn't really care about me regardless, but this is the truth? I'm guessing, I'm recalling him being a romance option, but he is a romance option that I am... Yep. So this is how you truly feel... Yes, sorry, I looked over at the chat, saw the comment, and when perhaps Lucette has to be around the other cursed so she can finally appreciate others around her. Yeah, I mean, I also think the whole purpose of the curse was to get her to appreciate the people around her. Sorry, I zoned out briefly there, but so Lucette... realizing her stepbrother actually also hates her when she thought that maybe he was just neutral. And I definitely know that he is a romance option, and so this definitely affects the romance path. But as I said, I am not interested in pursuing him as a romance option in this game, or at least at this time, unless I do all the paths. And I'm guessing the silence is... I actually don't know which one would be the better answer if I was trying, so I'm just gonna go with the one that I feel like going with. Which I forgot to read out loud. Which was, so this is how you really feel. So I have to be cursed for... Lucette out loud. So I have to be cursed for you to open up about how you truly feel. Rod. The only reason I didn't say anything earlier was because Emmeline didn't want me to. I'm happier now. I'm happier too now that you're gone. I don't have to pretend to like you anymore. Lucette. Silence. Rod. I'm going to return to the palace now. Lucette. Probably lightly dismayed silence. Out loud. I'm gone and they're all happier. Parfait. Your very existence has been erased in the palace. They've never known you. That doesn't mean they're happy without you. Lucette, thinking to herself, even the king. ... What did I expect? Parfait. Concerned silence. Lucette, out loud. Why did you bring me here? The people in the Marchen, they... Parfait. I shouldn't have left you alone in there. I'm sorry. Lucette. You knew how they felt about me. Yeah, and I think that's coming... I think that is also a reason she was brought here, was not just to appreciate the people around her, but to understand how she hurts people. Parfait. Silence. Lucette. What have I ever done to them? Parfait. Now isn't the right time to explain. Lucette. When will it ever be the right time? Parfait. So many things have already happened to you. I need you to be patient, Lucette. Lucette. Silence. Delora. Has the prince already left? Parfait. Yes, he has. Princess, we'll talk about this later. For now, you must focus on breaking your curse. Lucette. Silence. Delora. Did I miss something? Parfait. No. Delora. Skeptical silence. Right. Lucette, thinking to herself. Maybe the fairy is right. I don't think that I am ready to find out how I made so many people hate me. Well, you're gonna have to. Delora. Well, Parfait, I think it's time we get down to business. What should we do with her? Lucette. What are you talking about now? Delora. You, of course. You've got nowhere to go, right? Lucette. Silence. Wherein she acknowledges that this is true. Thinking to herself, she is right. I think back to the days I spent on the streets and shiver. I will do anything so long as I don't have to go back there. Parfait. The princess can stay at the Martian with me and the rest of my boarders. Lucette. Shock! I'd almost forgotten what hope felt like. Parfait. But you'll have to work in exchange for a room. I celebrated too soon. Out loud. What? Parfait. Magic has limitations, just like anything else. Money doesn't appear out of thin air, not even for a fairy. The Martian doesn't attract many customers, since only the cursed and a few others can enter. I sell my potions here and there, but I have several hungry mouths to feed, and my funds are tight. Lucette. I thought fairies lived in luxury. Parfait, are you broke? Parfait. Shock. Delora. Ouch, even the Ice Princess can tell. Lucette. And yet you still take people in? Delora. That's always been how Parfait operates. She's good-natured to a fault. Parfait. I'm told suffocating beneath my debt will be what kills me. Oh. Well, that's the way to look at it. Lucette. Why don't you just leave? I assume you make enough to take care of yourself. Parfait. Leaving someone who's in need of help? I could never. Delora. And that, princess, is how goodness works. Lucette, thinking to herself, how goodness works? Parfait. It's not as if I accept freeloaders. Okay, that's good, because I was thinking, there is a difference between being good and being a doormat and letting people take advantage of you. But no, it sounds like she is doing what she can to help people within her means. And that is absolutely good. Parfait. All my boarders help me run the Martian and do errands. Delora. The princess has never worked a day in her life. I doubt she'll be useful. Parfait. If karma can be useful, anyone can. Wow. What did karma used to do to get, or does now, to get that harsh of a... Welp. In fact, Delora. I have yet to see karma be anything but useless. Lucette. Silence. Parfait. Princess, you're more than welcome to stay if you're willing to help out. Delora. It's the least you can do in exchange for a roof over your head and 3 meals a day. And the shoes. Lucette. Silence. Do I even have a choice? I mean, no. Well, yes, you do. You could go live out on the streets and living out, but you have already learned that living out on the streets is awful. So you have one viable choice. I toss and turn in bed, unable to fall asleep. The mattress is hard and the sheets are itchy, but nothing at all like the bed I had in the palace. Lucette. What I would give for my old bed again, for any of the comforts of home. I miss my dolls. Okay, that's actually kind of precious. Like, okay, of course she's very privileged. She's like, oh, why do I have to suffer? But that she misses her dolls because her dolls are her only friends is both precious and sad. Garland. Lady Parfait! Lady Parfait! I sit up immediately. Lucette. Silence. What's going on? I leave my room to investigate. Some of the other Martian boarders, Waltz, Jurian, and Garland, are sitting on the settee looking anxious. Lucette. What's happening? Jurian. Sorry, did we wake you? Lucette. No, but the noises Garland was making would have woken the dead. Garland. Jurian and I found an injured man while we were doing our rounds. We brought him here. Lucette. An injured man? Wait, what were you doing outside? It's almost 1 a.m. Jurian. Nothing you need to worry about. Waltz. Lady Parfait and Annis are tending to the man now. Lucette. Thinking to herself, these people, will they just help anyone they find on the streets? What if this man is dangerous? Waltz. Do you think the witches got to him? Jurian. It's possible. We'll have to find out when he wakes up. The next day, Parfait reveals that the man only suffered minor head injuries. She says that she expects him to wake soon. I look at the tray of food in my hands. Annis has asked me to bring it up to the stranger's room while she finishes the rest of her cooking. Lucette, thinking to herself, I would never have been asked to do this in the palace. No, you wouldn't have, because you weren't working in the palace. Anyway, it's fine. She'll wrap her hand around it eventually. Delora. Goodness, what's that poor tray done to you to deserve that look? Lucette. Agitated silence. Delora. I must say that it's odd to see the princess doing something nice for someone. Lucette. What do you want? Delora. I have something to ask the man who was brought in last night. Seeing as you're being good enough to deliver breakfast, I thought I'd just tag along with you. Lucette. If you're going, just bring this tray up yourself. Delora. You are not in any position to delegate your duties to me, Miss Lucette. Come on, our guest must be famished. Seeing no way out, I followed Delora to the spare room the man had been put in. Men, come in. Oh, and here is our... Wait, have we met all 5? So I think we have all 5 of the love interests. So we met Fritz very early on. Rod, the stepbrother, is one. So there's Fritz, there's Rod. Waltz seems like he is probably one. Karma, and then this guy. I thought the man would have been old, but to my surprise he looks young, probably in his early 20s. He seems lost in reverie as he stares at a small notebook. Delora. Good morning. Good to see you're awake and breathing. The man looks up at her when she speaks. The instant he sees us, his eyes widen. Man. Silence. Lucette, thinking to herself, why is he staring at us like that? Man. Am I dead? Oh, is this going to be an opening for a because you look like angels line? Because that would be great. Lucette. Silence. Delora. What? Man. Oh, yep, I called it. Man. I'm in heaven. Or maybe you two are angels that have fallen out of it? Oh, yes, Megane. Megane mode glasses. Lucette. Awkward silence. Delora. Also silent. I see. Man, what can a humble gentleman like myself do for you lovely ladies? Oh, I think I see his archetype. Lucette. Silence. Man. Ah, you could join me on this bed. Okay, yep, that escalated. It's very comfortable, and there's plenty of room for the both of you. Yeah, there is a difference between being confident and propositioning 2 women you literally met moments ago. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. You were just playing up his ladies' man archetype. Delora. Oh my god, Delora. I'll follow your lead on this one, princess. Alright, so Delora's up for it. Either that or she's doing it to tease Lucette, which is also possible. Man. Princess? Ah, of course. Such a beautiful lady could only be a princess. Look at the noble way you hold up that tray. Oh my god! I want to throw the tray at him. That is amazing. I'm sorry. Yes. I probably won't be actually allowed to. I think it'll just be that she wanted to throw the tray at him, but that's such a funny option. Lucette, thinking to herself, or no, just out loud. Oh, nope, she's saying that out loud. Can I throw the tray at him? Delora, I'm tempted to let you. Man, feisty as well. Oh, be still my beating heart. Oh boy. This guy is a piece of work. Delora. Huh? Lucette. You. Parfait. Oh, he's awake. Man. Shock! Another lovely lady has entered my chambers. I don't think my heart can handle the perfection of 3 of you at once. Parfait. Awkward silence. Delora. I think I know how Casanova here got those head injuries. Some lady decided she'd had enough of his rubbish and wanted to punish him. Hahaha, maybe the other lady actually got to throw a tray at his head. Parfait. Delora, patience. He may not even be in the right state of mind right now. Oh, I think he is entirely in his right state of mind. Parfait. He did take injuries to the head, after all. The man finally stops to look just at me. He narrows his eyes and stares so hard I almost want to slap him. Lucette. What? Man, you're familiar. But no, it's impossible. Aren't you the crown princess? What are you doing here? Well, he's got a curse. Lucette. Shock. Parfait. If he knows, then he's... Delora. Well, he's definitely not a witch or a fairy. Can only mean one thing if he recognizes the Ice Princess. Parfait. What is your name, good sir? Man. Shock. Man. I would answer any questions you ask of me, madam, but... The man looks down at the notebook in his hands. I don't remember. Parfait. Silence. Alright, so he's got some kind of amnesia curse. Delora. Amnesia? Man, I know everything about Angèle, and yet I don't know the first thing about myself. Oh, except that I have the Rumpelstiltskin curse. Okay, so it's the idea behind that curse is probably that he doesn't know his own name, and I bet that breaking the curse is figuring out his real name, because that's how the Rumpelstiltskin story worked. Anyway, I'm very proud of myself, because I'm very sure that's right, but I am going to take just a moment, because for some reason it is very warm in this room, and I'm going to open the door. I would have thought that it would have been cooling off. Yeah, it's pretty cool outside. Okay, I'm gonna... Yeah, sorry for the pause. I'm just going to also maybe open some windows. And sorry if that increases the ambient sound, because I am in a city, but I am in the outer part of a city, so unless there are sirens, it should be fine. No, there's some... Well, let me know if there's any annoying background sounds. I'll do something about it. Anyway, sorry for the interruption. Alright, so he remembers nothing except that he has the Rumpelstiltskin's curse, which seems very clearly that to break it, he will have to figure out his real name. Lucette. Rumpelstiltskin? Is that a fairy tale? Delora. I knew it. He's got the fairy tale curse. Man. Fairy tale curse? Parfait. Do you remember how to break it? Man. Silence. From what I remember, I need to somehow collect 3 memories and get them to appear in this journal as entries. Aw, it's not my guess. I guess figuring out his own name would have been a little too easy if he had anyone in the town who knew who he was. So, oh well, it was... I'm proud of the idea anyway. He shows us the notebook he's been holding on to since we entered the room. My first memory is of waking up and holding this. I thought there would be information in here, but it's empty. Parfait. Another victim of the curse. You must be tired. Lucette will leave your breakfast here, and we'll give you some time to yourself. We'll be outside if you need anything else. Lucette. Agitated silence. Or at least I'm guessing agitated. Parfait. Parfait. Rumpelstiltskin. Lucette. What is that fairy tale about? Delora. I like how they have, actually, it's kind of clever that they have Lucette specifically not being familiar with any fairy tales, because then it makes sense in world context to explain what the fairy tale was. Just in case, not everybody knows every Western fairy tale, so. Anyway, Delora, silence. Delora does not do a good job of hiding her laughter. Amazing. She snorts. Oh no, she's laughing at. Oh, never mind. I take that back. She's laughing at Lucette for not knowing shit. That's actually a little mean. Come on. She snorts, and I cross my arms, embarrassed. Lucette. Mother burned the fairy tales in the palace before I got the chance to read all of them. Delora. Fine. I'll keep it short. Once upon a time, there was a girl that was said to be able to spin straw into gold. The king found her and locked her up in a tower. He said he wouldn't let her out until she turned all of the straw in the room into gold. But the girl was just a regular human girl. She knew she would never be able to turn the straw into gold and feared that she would be locked up forever. That was when an odd little man appeared before her and offered to do the job for her if she gave him something in return. The girl gave him her necklace, and the man spent the rest of the night spinning the straw into gold. However, the girl wasn't released. The second night she was given more straw to spin, and the little man appeared once more. This time she gave him her ring. On the third night, the king ordered her to spin the straw one last time, and if she did, she would be released and made his queen. However, that night the girl had nothing left to give the little man, so they made an agreement. He would spin the straw into gold for her, so long as she gave him her first child. Parfait. I personally never understood why the girl would want to marry the king in the first place. I mean, I agree, and I'm going to take that as a moment to do a side note here. There is a great book by the author Vivian von Veld that is called The Rumpelstiltskin Problem, wherein the author basically writes something like 5 or 6 different retellings of the fairy tale from like different concepts and perspectives. And of course, because I am a bit of a romantic, as you might be able to guess from the fact that I'm playing otome games, I am a big fan of one in which actually Rumpelstiltskin is this like elf who is just there to help her out and like cares more about her than the king, and then it ends very happily because after everything is sorted, like well, actually, you know what? I won't spoil it, but it has a happy ending, and she goes off to be with hot elf Rumpelstiltskin instead of the king. So I am with Parfait on this. Anyway, I want to try to make it through to the end of this chapter, but I will admit that I am flagging. I'm not a regular streamer and not the sort of person who usually sits in my chair for 2.5 hours straight, which I haven't, like, to be fair. I've gotten up, like, multiple times, but still. I've also been talking for 2.5 hours straight, so I'm going to push a little longer, but if we don't hit the end of the chapter in, like, let's say 15 minutes or so, I think I'm just going to try to find a good stopping point and call it there. Anyway, Parfait, making the very reasonable comment. I personally never understood why the girl would want to marry the king in the first place. Delora. Hush, I'm trying to tell a story here. Parfait. Mildly chastised silence. Delora. Years passed, and the queen finally gave birth to her first child. That night, the odd little man returned and demanded his due, but the queen didn't want to give up her child. Well, you shouldn't have promised your firstborn child in the first place, but looking at chat, what does his curse mean? Do you mean the Rumpelstiltskin curse? They established that the Rumpelstiltskin curse, the way for him to break it, whatever it was, it gave him amnesia, and the way for him to break it, sadly, was not the thing I thought, where it was just to figure out his name. It was, he needs to somehow get 3 of his own memories to appear in a journal that's in his hands, and I assume that is, he needs to unlock those memories somehow. Anyway. So continuing so Delora is currently telling the story of Rumpelstiltskin, and we're at the point where the girl who was spinning the straw into gold has married the king and has had her first child, which she has promised to Rumpelstiltskin, and now has to deal with the consequences of her choices. So, the man then said he wouldn't take the child if the queen was able to guess his name in 3 days. The man's name was Rumpelstiltskin. Lucette. Did she guess it? Delora. Oh yeah, the night before her time was officially up, the queen was drawn to the forest by the sound of a little voice. She saw the little man celebrating his upcoming victory, singing about how nobody had or ever would guess his real name, which was Rumpelstiltskin. Lucette. He does not sound particularly smart. Delora. So agrees the general populace. Parfait. Sometimes I wonder how Hans was able to come up with such tall tales. Well, the Martian is opening soon. I expect another busy day. Delora. Especially busy for you, Lucette. You need to start coming up with good deeds. Lucette. Agitated silence. The amnesiac Casanova was allowed to stay at the Martian with the other boarders. Because he still seemed capable, Parfait sent him to work as one of the Martian's servers. Anis's protests that he remain in bed fell on deaf ears. Parfait couldn't very well throw him out, not while knowing that he had nowhere to go. Lucette, thinking to herself, I would be incapable of showing him such kindness, given all of the nonsense he spouts at us. Okay, I feel like Lucette is a little bit justified here, because the dude seems a little, like, problematic in his levels of hitting on people. Oh, also, just seeing chat. Yes, you are welcome. No problem. I am always happy to answer questions. I may not see them immediately, but I will as soon as I notice them. And I do have, like, double screen, so I try to remember to glance over. Anyway, Lucette thinking to herself, I would be incapable of showing him such kindness given all of the nonsense he spouts at us. The people that frequent the Martian begin to steadily ignore me altogether, like I do not exist. Lucette thinking to herself, it is better than the stares and the hateful looks. I mean, fair. Ha! I like the idea that, right, they call him Rumpel because that was his name in the intro, and yeah, since he's got the Rumpelstiltskin curse, what else are you gonna call him if he's got amnesia over it? Delora. Rumpel, you aren't here to flirt. Rumpel. But this lovely lady is unattended. Lady. Sir Rumpel, please, you're making me blush. Yeah, okay. Lucette thinking to herself, because the man couldn't remember his name, he fashioned one from his own curse. Rumpel. I think it suits him. Delora. I will never understand Parfait. This amorous waste of space is about as useful as karma. Oh, I like karma. Karma. I've returned. Delora. Speak of the devil. Karma. Did you miss me? Karma had left abruptly yesterday, saying that she had something very important to take care of. Waltz trails in after her now, carrying several boxes in his arms. Waltz. Why am I carrying these? Karma. Because you made me run that errand for you at the toy shop the other day, and because gentlemen carry things for ladies. Waltz. I'm going to drop them now. Karma. Those boxes contain very important contents. Anis. Welcome home, Miss Karma. Nice to see you've survived the trip, Waltz. Waltz. Thank you, Anis. Rumpel. Silence. Karma. So this is our new housemate? We've not had the opportunity to meet. I am... Karma. Shock. Yes, of course. Of course. Rumpel immediately hits on her heavily, and I am liking that extremely sus face. We are all surprised when Rumpel suddenly reaches out to grab Karma's hand. Rumpel. My life before this moment has been a depressing monochrome. Now that you have entered my bleak existence, I see everything in beautiful, blazing color. And nothing shines more brightly, more vividly than you. Karma. Unimpressed silence. Rumpel. I am Rumpel, my sweet. Let us talk of marriage. Karma. Unimpressed silence. I stare at Karma, waiting for her to flirt back. At the very least, I expect her to wave Rumpel away for being a fool. But she remains eerily silent. Oh, I wonder if she knows who he is. Rumpel. Answer, my angel, I beg of you. Karma, with an extremely irritated face. Keep. Rumpel. Say the word and it's done. Karma. Your filthy hands off of me! And the sound of a punch. He probably had that coming. Rumpel. Ow! Waltz. Not again. Karma. I would never be interested in the likes of you. Men. Go on, lad, give him a good beating, like the one you gave me. Because Karma is probably not interested in men and is deeply agitated by being flirted by. Like, to be fair, I think that this level of agitation would be valid for anyone being aggressively flirted with like that. But, like, based on the way they're presenting it, sounds like also Karma just really does not like being hit on by men. Rumple. My queen, there is no need for violence. Karma. What did you call me? Annis. Please calm down. Rumple is still recovering. Lucette. What is going on? Waltz. Yep. Okay. Waltz. Karma is a man. Doesn't take kindly to being flirted with. Okay, I take objection to how they phrased that, because I bet that Karma does not object to being flirted with by women. The problem is not that Karma is a man. The problem is that Karma is not interested in men. But, it's an otome game. I wasn't exactly expecting it to be revolutionary in its stance towards LGBT. I was talking about this earlier when Karma was first introduced, where I was like, looking at that character, who is a beautiful woman, definitely going to turn out to be a cross-dressing man, because that's just how anime tropes work. And I'm kind of disappointed, because I kind of would have liked if Karma was just gender fluid, but I think I think what is probably going on here is that Karma is male, identifies male, and is cursed to be female during the day, because we also had the moment where we met Karma at night and he was actually male. Or at least it was pretty obvious to me that it was Karma. It was not technically officially established. Anyway. Sorry. Rant done. Waltz. Karma is a man, doesn't take kindly to being flirted with. Waltz. Or proposed to. Lucette. Skeptical silence? Oh, out loud. She is a man? Rumple. But your voice, your face. I'm not going to read that out loud, but he is commenting on physical features that are typically on AFAB folks. Rumple has then got hit by Delora, which I appreciate. Delora, that's what you're focusing on? Pervert. Rumple, I worship all aspects of the female form, but my particular favorite has always been... Yeah, I figured if they were going to have... This was probably not going to be amazing at trans issues, but it is what it is. I will just continue playing, and I will try not to get too hung up on it. Delora, do yourself a favor and shut up. Lucette, thinking to herself, I never would have known, but why would he do this? Presumably about Karma cross-dressing. Again, I'm assuming this is going to turn out to be the curse. Although, what curse would have the gender swappy thing? I'm trying to think of fairy tales that have dealt heavily. Well, we'll find out, I'm sure. Lucette, silence. Karma, don't look at me like that. I have my reasons. Game. Sorry, I'm just like... I had some hopes that it would not be awful about... low-key awful about the whole cross-dressing plot, and it's being low-key awful about it. Lucette, is it because of your curse? Karma, silence. Yes. Rumple, I am undone. My heart is in pieces. Delora, you knew him for 10 minutes. Rumple, for those that can hear the music of their heart like I, it takes only a look to fall madly, irretrievably in love. I must leave. My heart will need time to heal. Wow, buddy. Waltz. Silence. The Martian attracts all sorts, doesn't it? Delora. That one is entirely Parfait's fault. All right, nothing to see here. Back to work. Lucette. Silence. I am still in shock from what I learned earlier. Karma, a man. It is not fair that he is so beautiful as a woman. If the female population of Angiel knew the truth, Karma would be hunted down for making the rest of us pale in comparison. Annis, being good, I suppose, prepared a special lunch to welcome the newest Marchen boarders. We have all been invited to the private dining room. Rod. Excuse me, is Lady Parfait here? Parfait. Prince Rod, perfect timing. Please join us for lunch. Rod. I only came to talk to you, Lady Parfait. Parfait. But I'm hungry and I have no wish to make you wait while I eat. Come, join us. Oh gosh, speaking of eat, I definitely am going to have to call this sooner than later. I am very hungry. But nope, I'm going to try to keep going until chapter 2, see if I can make it. Annis, please, your highness. I've made too much as usual. You must help us finish. Rod. Silence that looks like a sigh. Very well. Reluctant sigh. Rumple. A cursed princess and a cursed prince. What an eccentric collection of friends you have, Lady Parfait. Parfait. I wouldn't say they were eccentric, necessarily. Delora. You're the most eccentric one here, Rumple. Rumple. Really now? I sit silently in my chair. I am uncomfortable around so many people. Even when Mother was alive, I had all my meals alone, since my parents were always too busy to sit down for meals with me. The meals with Ophelia and her children were also awkward and silent. Somehow, the atmosphere here is lively and friendly, even though I barely know anyone here. Lucette. Silence. Presumably awkward silence. Annis. Is something wrong? Lucette. Excuse me? Annis. You've barely touched your food. Don't you like it? Delora said this was one of your favorites. Lucette. Agitated silence. I'm just not used to eating with company. That's all. Garland. They say that sharing a meal brings the family closer together. Lucette. Silence. Jurian. Garland. Garland. Shock. As he realizes what an awkward thing he just said. Garland. I apologize. Lucette thinking to herself. Closer together, huh? Delora. So have you made any progress on how to do those good deeds, princess? Lucette thinking to herself. There is no way I am admitting that I don't even know how to complete one. Delora. Oh, I forgot. You're not so good on the doing good front. Lucette. You are not very helpful. Parfait. Why don't you ask someone to teach you how to do good? Lucette. What? Delora. Well, that's not something you hear every day. Lucette. As in, take some kind of lessons? Parfait. If you're having so much trouble on your own, you should ask someone to give you advice or teach you. It's as simple as that. Karma. What is this I hear? The princess needs advice? Well then, she's in luck. I happen to give the most excellent advice, and believe me when I say I can teach almost anything. Lucette. Presumably skeptical silence. Rumple. The princess is indeed lucky, as I am available for teaching duties. No doubt I'd be the better choice, as I don't go about deceiving the world. Oh my god, no. Please do not. Right, so... Oh, sorry, I missed your comment on that triggering one of his memories. Do you mean, like, the being a teacher, or did I just totally miss that and that was about something from much earlier? Anyway, I'll get back to you. If I see more, I will respond in chat. I will respond. But first, I'm going to break briefly to get on a soapbox for a second to complain about hopefully people watching will already be aware of this and how problematic it is, but on the off chance that you are not, there is a hugely problematic concept that is actually quite prevalent in anime called the trap character. And the idea is that it is a trap that a man, it could be, look like such a pretty girl. And that is enormously harmful to the trans community, and it's really shitty, and I do not like that I'm getting vibes of that here, because that is definitely the thing that Rumple is implying that Karma is doing. So, yeah, fuck you a little bit on that one, game. I'm going to keep playing it, but I am going to complain, but I am going to not... I am going to say something when problematic stuff comes up on this point. Alright. So, better choices. I don't go back to seeing the world. Karma. Excuse me? Agitated tension. Waltz. From one-sided flirting to bitter enemies and all in the span of a few hours. Rumple. The man broke my heart! Waltz. Silence. Waltz. Anyways, I'd also be happy to help you in any way I can, princess. Oh, I'm guessing this is going to be a choice. Okay, so you will give me every love interest except for the knight because he's not here. I assume he'll show back up eventually, but... So I'm guessing that what happens next is that I get to choose one of them to try and teach me, or maybe say no to all of them, and it will definitely be progression on the romance tracks. So since Fritz is not around, and he would have... So my two top choices for the love interests at this time are Karma and Fritz. And since Fritz is not around, I think maybe I will... aim for Karma for now. Oh, the heartbreak. Yeah. Okay, you know, if Rumple were earnestly heartbroken, I could totally see that triggering a memory. I'll admit, though, this feels a little... He feels like a little over the top about it. I think he is upset, but not actually quite as heartbroken as he is making out. He's overplaying it for the drama. That is my opinion, anyway. Alright, Parfait. And I'm sure your stepbrother would be happy to help as well. That's cute, Parfait. It's nice you think that. Rod. Silence. Annis. I don't think I would make the best teacher for this sort of thing. Jurian. I only teach others how to fight. Garland. Never mind the fact that Jurian herself still struggles to be good. Jurian. What? Delora. You're lucky, aren't you? So many people are willing to help you. Lucette. Why? Delora. Lucette. Why are you all willing to help me? Waltz. It's what we do at the Marchen. We help each other. Delora. Lesson number 1. Doing good means helping whenever one can. Lucette. Silence. Probably confused. Silence. Waltz. Just let us know. Just let any of us know if you want our help. Lucette, repeating to herself, thinking in her head. Trust no one but yourself. You need not care for anyone but yourself. Which is definitely coming from her mother. Yep. Continuing to think to herself, this is what mother and the last few years have taught me. Your mother taught you busted shit, and you need to unlearn it, dear. I'm sure she will eventually. Lucette. Out loud. I have always been alone, and it is easier that way. And yet, thinking to herself, these strangers, these people that I've only known for a few days, are so willing to help me when they will gain nothing in return. Is this the goodness I was meant to see? Father? Yes, in fact, it is not that your father doesn't love you, it's that he was really hoping that maybe if you left the palace and interacted with anyone other than yourself, he was probably very worried about you and wanted you to learn how that, oh gosh, that there are kind people in the world. Lucette, continuing to think to herself, how can I even begin to trust and care for others when I have forgotten how to do so? I am slowly beginning to understand what I must do. Oh, perfect. This feels like, yes, I made it. I made it to the end of the chapter. That was long. So, I'm going to... Oh my goodness, I'm going to just keep saving new save slots. No, I'm going to save at the beginning of each... Oh, I see. That's a save so you can play the common route again. Yeah, so... But that's fine, because I've got a save from the beginning of chapter 1 there, so I will overwrite that one. I'm probably going to save at the beginning of keep my save for the beginning of each chapter. Because they gave me like 72 slots, and I made a comment where I was like, oh, that's so many, but like realistically, knowing myself, I'm going to go through a lot of those. All right, so I am going to close things here. Do not get used to this, anyone watching this. This is much longer than I would typically stream for. It was my first time doing this. I wanted to get through the first chapter, and I started a little earlier than I normally would as well. So, but yeah, we got through the first 2 chapters. This was fun. Yeah, I agree. Like the whole responding to chat very much applies to real life. Yeah, the being closed off and having to learn how to trust people and stuff. There's actually, there's definitely some things here where I feel like they're not handling everything as responsibly as they could, but I wasn't exactly expecting that from a fairly generic otome game. But yeah, no, I actually like some of the themes that they're dealing with here. Like, she's very closed off and like has been taught not to trust people and that kindness doesn't exist. And so I look forward to her slowly unlearning those things and like not just becoming a better person, but like becoming a healthier person too, because a lot of this is coming from like a trauma and abuse background. So like in that her mother was very emotionally abusive and very problematic, and taught her a lot of bad things. So yeah, so my plan is to pick this up again in 2 weeks. My hope is to make this a regular every other week stream where I continue this game. And I, of course, will not play ahead, and I will just play it on stream. And so it'll be every other Monday starting this week, and my normal start time is going to be 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, hope that maybe some of the people who watched this one will come back to see some more. And I will also leave this video up. I also might make a YouTube channel to post these videos so people can watch the old, because I know Twitch only keeps them for like 2 weeks, but yeah, so I'll post something about that when I do that. And for now, the video will be up on Twitch if you want to go back and watch anything you missed. So, anyway, thank you so much for the people who tuned in today. I really appreciate you, and I am looking forward to continuing this game and this streaming series. So, bye!